G'day, and welcome to Inforunners citizens. We're very early today. We are agreed. Anyway, how do you
Contrary to Execute's fear-mongering,
Yeah.
I am here.
Yeah, he is here.
Welcome to our 48-hour live stream for CitizenCon.
48.
We're starting early today, and Execute is going to keep going for the next 48 hours. No,
you're on your own on that one, bro.
But it does have that fear. I'm baked already. So
yeah. Yeah, I had to go to bed. Like, I haven't gone to bed at 7:30 at night since I was like probably 7 to get up at this time. So yeah, it was
come on, Julian, go to bed.
Yeah,
that's you got school tomorrow.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much for that. So yeah.
That was obviously old man Hurston's mum. You know, I don't know.
Very close too. I had all these windows open, and then I restarted my PC, so I've lost all my there we go. No, they're back. Cool, sweet. I got them all back. So I had some stuff open to show off, but we're gonna load those up real quick. And they're good to go, but I will have to zoom in on those again. But that's fine, I'll fix those. Right. So yeah, you ready for tomorrow?
Yes, just in a bit of a no. Probably. The question is, am I ready for Monday when back to school? and the answer to that is no. No, I'm not ready to go back to school.
Why is the teacher asleep, guys? Like,
yeah, why is that teacher asleep? And hi, Dexine on Twitch. First time chatter says hello.
Yes.
Hi.
We're expecting. We don't know what to expect today because we are starting a lot earlier than we normally do. We're actually starting we'll finish an hour before we normally start. So that's we just thought we'd try out a different time because well for two reasons, just to see what it's like if we do stuff earlier. And then two, obviously it allows us to sync up for tomorrow rather than having this wild sleep schedule. So I just called Algared and I said, look, Algared, let's just do 4 a.m. 2 days in a row. And then he kind of was very reluctant, but then I think he realized why I was trying to say it because
I knew why you were doing it. But
you can't make me.
I know why you're suggesting it makes sense, but X, for X, it's like, 4 a.m. start, no worries. 3:50, I'm up, I'm going. For me, it's like, no.
Yeah, Algared's a slow starter.
Crank the motor, change for oil, crank the motor. So
what time were you awake then? What time did you get up to get ready for today?
3.
Oh, so it took you an hour. I was 3:40. I just stretch and then go make my cup of tea, go to the toilet, get dressed, sit down, and why's Algared muted and deafened? But anyway, it's all good. You were here. Little late to start, but we're good. Right, I should get the bot up and going because I always forget that one. Get her up and going, and then we shall get started.
Now, I will guarantee we're not going to be starting at this time every week. But today, tomorrow, this time, to help us with that CitizenCon timing, we will be starting earlier because we've had daylight savings as well. So we'll be starting earlier for us, but
just allowed us to test it. To test it too, just to see, tread the water and see what it would be like if because I had a look at the time before. It's essentially 1 p.m. in New York. It's 10 a.m. in LA, and it's 6 p.m. in Manchester. So those of you at the office, if you're still there, nice to see you.
Hi, CIG. Lovely to see you. Lovely for you to see us. Can't say nice to see you because we can't.
I guarantee there's people there crunching like crazy bad rabbits. But if there are, good to see you. I hope you're having a good time there. I've just been cat attacked right there, mate.
Special love to any of the QA people working at CIG at the moment.
Yep. Right. So let's have a look at some of the stuff that's come in. I have not had a chance since yesterday even to see if there's more leak stuff and stuff that's come out. I will have a quick perusal and see if there's anything new. There is some new photo. I will open these real quick because these will actually kind of be better to look at. Give me a momento. So there appears to be a new event, and with that event, they have put in some new skins, and that is what I'm pulling up now. The ones that I saw earlier, they had a list of ships, and they basically included. Give me a second. I'm going to read them. To go back, I'm multitasking like crazy here. So they had the. Where the hell was it? God damn it! I've lost it. Give me a second. I had a whole list here, and I've lost it. And no, I can't find it. Of course I can't find it. That'd just be typical, wouldn't it? It had I'm trying to remember the list. It had like there was a Prowler, there was an Ares, there was a C2, an Arrow, MTC, Spirit, and I'm probably missing one or two. But they're just the ones off the top of my head. But if I switch this over to the browser, these are the new photos that dropped. Excuse me, Jax, who decided to get in the way. Get out of the way. So this is a Citizens for Prosperity Spirit skin, which is interesting because this was also in the resource drive, so it's actually the only one that's getting a kind of a double up. Then there's a Headhunters one. I think that's going to be very popular. It speaks to me. I don't know about you. And then there's an Arrow, and they're the only ones they included. I did have these ones looked up from before, which are the actual skins. So the only other one that I've got that's really like that was the MTC. So yeah, I don't know what you think of that.
There might be a few.
But that is in the patch notes as well. If I go back to the patch notes, there was literally oh, I've got to find it now. Well, that's the Amundi, but they basically have a new event in Pyro that's between it's the final thing between the Citizens of Prosperity and Headhunters, the final event. So it's going to wrap up that storyline that was from earlier on in the year when they were in Pyro. So I'm pretty sure that that's what those skins.
Let's get those Citizens of Prosperity being prosperous.
Apparently, then according to like certain people that I talked to, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I could believe that because people are foolish and yeah.
Well, apparently the Citizens of Prosperity are actually the bad guys. So
well, they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That's just my view, but yeah. I was looking at the YouTube chat and Wopsdirk. Dear Lord, I catch you Drongo's live. That sounds like they've got to be an expat.
Sounds a little bit like an expat, doesn't it? He knows the lingo. He knows the
lingo.
Yeah. Do you know what this is, Algared?
That is looks like the watery or swampy Valaka.
Yeah, the Amundi. This is in its natural habitat in the cave. Not natural, but the cave below the Science Wing, and it is glorious. Like visually, it's one of the coolest things I've seen in game. And just the environment, but the way the worm actually moves, I think it will be a really good event that a lot of people are going to get involved in. I think we're going to see a lot of groups going down there. And
just to experience
just to experience what it looks like, because it wasn't a particularly hard fight, but it was just a really cool visual, like to see it attack and the way that you can tell they put a lot of work into it. Like it moves way better than the other worm did. There's lots of cool effects, like with the water where it comes out of the water and the lightning and stuff. It's I'm sure there's videos out there people have seen already, but I would
imagine that the worm movements are going to be retrofitted or retro applied to the others down the track. But it's one of the things I do notice with CIG. You constantly see them reiterating and improving and improving and improving, and that's some people look and go, oh, they're not doing anything, it's just a worm. But when you look at the progression and the development,
and again, if it's done like most MMOs, these are essentially the same animation set, so you could essentially take these animations and put them on the Valakar instead of the Amundi. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. But again, it would be a little bit weird with the water ones. But again, you just take the water effects off. So But yeah, it probably does go backwards compatible. I'll tell you some really interesting things about it. So see those kind of like glowing white areas, and I think that's just kind of been done in the photo. What it does is it has these like, because it fires like lightning out of itself, but it has these like areas on its body where it's kind of like got thinner skin, and you can see the electricity inside it. It's almost like purple, and you can see the electricity like pulsing through it. They're weak areas. You shoot, and its eyes, if you shoot them, it causes it extra damage, and they can actually kind of like explode and do electricity damage. There's also like those batteries. There's a battery dispenser, and you can kind of throw it in, and electrocutes like the water and everything. It's a very electronic based fight. And it's a colder area down there, and apparently Volt weapons work really well. So it's a very, as I said, very electronic based fight. But it's just really cool to see people working together. Like there's people resin each other and stuff like that. And there's these rocks that you got to kind of hide behind, and it's like it's doing. Like I think it's going to end up having a nickname of the Palpatine worm or something like that, because it's literally just doing massive electronic beams like the Emperor. You know, just unlimited power like everywhere, and it's not just one of them. But there's a couple, and you're like, oh shit, oh shit.
For those who remember Dark Age of Camelot, this just reminds me of the dragon that was in the PvP area, and that was always a lovely fight. And back there, you could actually take the trophy. But one of the biggest things you could get from there was the trophy, which was the head of a dragon.
Yep.
It was just a decoration, just something you could turn into a monster head for your wall. But it was one of the most sought after. Certainly, when I was leading groups, it was one of the most sought after drops from the dragon. So I could see things like that down the track.
It's funny you mention that. Really cool looting for this guy is when he dies, you can get a tractor beam and pull his eyeballs out and his tongue off.
Oh, joy!
and if you actually get enough of those, you can take those in as well as a suit of the new BattleTech Palantir armor, and trade them into Wicklow, and you'll get the upgraded version.
That doesn't sound as fancy as having the dragon head in your residence as, hey, I killed that, you know.
Yeah. With there being multiple worms.
Yep.
And then multiple players. But even if you were able to do like solo it, or say there was 2 of you that went down there and you were able to do it, you're gonna have to run it at least 10 times. So I think there's gonna be a lot of people going down there trying to farm all this. It's gonna be rather interesting to see.
DG Gnome in Twitch says, oh, they'd make a snake mask for their Zeus out of a head. So yeah. So I want to scare people.
So there's the stuff about the Frontier fighters I was talking about. Set to updated. You've got the heavy battle tech armor, the Palatino, which is the one I was talking about going in. The Mundi the Worm, the Unmundi Cave, mission pickup locations. This is all new. What do you call it? Roadmap stuff that went in. They updated the Clawson Warner. This is the thing that I forgot to talk about on here, but the Clawson Warner, I had the original picture from 8 years ago, so they've updated that, just like they updated the bearing cannons. They've updated the laser repeaters, being the 2 most common guns in the game that have become stock on ships. I think that is a really cool change.
Yeah, and one of the things we were looking at the other day, we were looking at one of the ships, and we were looking at some of the guns that have been updated, and they did look so good. You know, just being able to see that, you know, looking at the gun, it was very quick to say, oh, that's a size 3, that's a size 4, you know, just because of the new graphics. So and they look really good. So yeah.
Yeah, the ones he's talking about, the ones with the new copper ones with copper fins. I think I've got a picture, and I don't think I could bring one up fairly quickly, but yeah.
But they look really good.
They do look really good, and I am looking forward to. Well, it's a big change. It's like the most 2 common weapons in the game. And to change them like that is, they look better. They just do. So I'm hoping the same thing happens to the laser repeaters, because I think they're probably the most common. If someone said what is the most common ship weapon, it'd be the Clawson Warner. So
yeah, and the change isn't like a drastic visual. You know, the shape language
Mm.
is still the same. It's just the visuals of it have just been raised up, by a factor of 10.
Well,
It just look.
for me, Algared, it's just the ease of being able to tell what size they are.
Yeah,
But,
and
I think it's been needed for a long time, to be
Yep.
honest with you. Like I can just look at them and go, oh, that's a size 2,
Yep.
and that's always been, you often go, is that a size 2 or is that a size 3? But now,
now
like
it's blatantly obvious.
yeah, with those, and I'd hope that carries through to the whole series, so you can kind of just look and maybe they can be real sneaky in how they do it, and the size 5 has you almost do it in Roman numerals. Do you know what I mean? So like the 4 has a 5, like a 5 and 1 before it, and then the other has a, you know what I mean? So maybe it's like a fat heat sink and a small heat sink, and then the other one has a fat heat sink and 2 after it, and you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Yep. So they could do it that way, but the visual, the upgraded visual just looks really good, and it's really good for recognition.
Yeah.
But it's kept the shape language, so the look of the guns, and the guns look great to start with. It's just the graphics on those guns have just been highlighted and tweaked as. So yeah.
All right. Let's have a quick look and see if we've had any questions come in. I haven't actually.
I had sent a couple, so there should be.
Very few. Very few. Come on, up those numbers. They're rookie numbers. Get those a little higher. And I don't think I've really got much else to show, because it's kind of gone all quiet on the Western Front type of thing before the weekend. So that is pretty much all I have. Other than, yeah, that's basically it. There's anything else?
No.
Hmm.
Not that I can think of.
All right.
Quiet.
So this is going to be a very quick stream. Let's get some more questions in. So yeah, please get your questions in. You guys know how it works by now, hopefully. Those of you that are catching us for the first time, because this is a very early time today. This is a question and answer stream, and basically when the questions run out, it ends early, or we will do it for 3 hours. We are currently almost 20 minutes in, so we've got about an hour and 2 hours and 40 minutes to go. So, right, first question, Algared, if you would be so kind, sir.
Yeah. So Medical Walker says, greetings from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Do you think CIG will make a Legionnaire multi-role variant?
Multi-role variant? No, I don't. I think that ship's very bespoke. I'm trying to think of how you would use it another way, and I really can't think of one. Can you?
The Legionnaire with its docking collar, a resupply for ships, so cargo variant.
So yeah, okay. So instead of I could probably give you that. Yeah, wouldn't be a lot.
Rescue ship.
Wouldn't be a lot of cargo though.
No, a rescue ship. So the docking collar goes over a breach and seals the breach, and then you can go in and.
What? So like a medical one instead of a
troop carrier one, yeah.
Yeah, but you could probably almost do that with a normal one. I don't know. Yeah. I think that one's a bit of reach, but I might give you the cargo.
I'm doing the reaching.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the possible variants you could go for. You still using the docking, or kind of still making use of that docking collar type thing. But yeah,
and being a military ship, I think it's a bit of a reach. I don't like. Yeah. Well, it's like saying, how do you do a Carrack military variant? Like, it's not really a thing you can do. I don't know. I'd say likely not, but I could possibly give you the cargo one. I could see a need for that, like potentially.
Let's get the Legionnaire with its docking collar in game and working before we actually look at the variants. Or, but yeah, there's a possibility. But I'm with you. I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah, let's get hacking in game first before. That'd be great. Right.
Yeah, let's get the ability to actually open the doors from the other side. Not something I'm looking forward to as someone who's likely going to be on the receiving end.
All right. Yeah. Devil Gene says, which new game features do you expect to be shown at CitizenCon? Well, we can actually have a look at that. If I go over here, and go to this view, they tell on themselves. I'm pretty sure it's going to be all this shit here, on the roadmap, and when you look at this one specifically, crafting, it was 102 weeks. That's 2 weeks shy of 2 years. That is a lot of development time. I think so. I think that, along with the base building, which was 88 weeks, which is only a month or so shorter than that, or 2 months shorter than that. I think that's what we're going to be kind of seeing. We saw kind of prototypes last year. I think we'll see Nyx again, Algared. I think you have to kind of agree with me on that. Like, probably different areas of Nyx this time.
Yep.
What about you, Algared? Do you think
Look,
that's what we're? Oh, maybe some FPS radar and scanning.
Yep. Look, any of those things I've been working on for a longer time. I think you'd see anything they showed us. The things they were working on last year, like base building, and they're the things at Citizen they tend to show. These are the things we're planning for.
Yeah.
And then you tend to see that if they can do it, sometimes, roadblocks and other things can stop it. So I would expect we'd see the stuff that's coming that we're actually putting in, and then there's going to be that link of stuff that by working on to put in. So
what do you, I'm thinking maybe a little bit of Castra as well. That's kind of you kind of see the update of stuff, but you'll see a sneak peek of something new as well. So I'm thinking they worked on that that new planet. They talked about a new planet, but going to level 5 planetary tech. I have to assume planetary tech. So everyone's kind of assuming that planet's in Castra, but I think that would definitely planet tech would be the other. There hasn't been a CitizenCon in a recent memory. We haven't seen planetary tech because that's a foundation part of the game, isn't it? So,
and I wouldn't be surprised. They bring in the new tech as they're working on a planet, and then they tend to work backwards again and I'll bring up everything else to that standard. So they pick a planet, develop it, and then rock seems to roll out everywhere else. So again, it's just one of those things that I love about this game. But
likewise, can't disagree on that one. All right. Hope that answers your question, mate. In regards to gameplay features, you did say gameplay. Yeah, again, I'd still look at the roadmap. So we did say base building, crafting, and scanning. There's little ones in the background too, like bounty hunting, and hacking. So they're the other two that I'd probably look at. I wouldn't go too much further than that. But.
And if I do base building, it's going to be tier 0. Like, I know they've talked about farms and ranches and you name what else, but I to see how far and what variation we get in base building to start with, or is going to be the interesting aspect.
Well, the build's been sitting there almost a year now, ready to go, type of thing. at least that type of long. So that one's been sitting there for a while, ready to go. So that'll be coming out as well. So I'd expect to see some stuff with drones. To be honest, is what I'm kind of would like to see too. A little bit of drone stuff. I think that's probably on the cards as well.
But with the base building, like the drone, because of the way they showed the drones, it's it's just you program it, and it just once you set up the build, the drones are just going backwards and forwards, a bit like any of the old tabletop.
But it was noticeably kind of absent last time, so it's something if it's more polished, like to see where it's got to the polish level. I think that'd be a real. Again, we've kind of got that programmer art that we saw last year. I'd like to see where that's got to, the UI stuff like that. And I think there'll be certain things they might not have time to talk about, like the inventory rework, but they'll probably just show it rather than talking about it. So when they're showing off other things, you'll probably see updated things within that, is what I'm kind of expecting. So yeah. Not going to have enough time in 2 hours to show off everything, obviously, so they're going to have to hit the highlights and summarize, I think. I think the more dead air they have, the more annoyed people are going to be. Let's just put it that way.
And I kind of agree with you. Like, I'm just seeing Rocket Man had a question. Do we expect to see a bit of Terra at SitCon, and I think Terra is going to be the last of the 5. So
absolutely,
I would expect to see, as you said, Castra. So we'll see a lot more of Nyx, because Nyx is the next one going in. So it's Planet 3 or System 3. System 4 is Castra. So we'll see parts of Castra as they're rolling forward. So and they might show us a sneak peek of something as concept work for Terra as well. So you'll see that type of progression,
especially if they're doing. So I have this sneak suspicion. You tell me if you think I'm wrong here, right? With what we saw, again, I can open up the star map and we can look. But you've essentially got 2 small systems in Nyx with 3 planets and Castor with 2, and then you've got Terra with just like a super Earth.
A bazillion,
yeah. Like it clearly needs more work than both of them combined, right? So I think they're essentially working on Terra over the next 2 years, and they're basically doing Castra and Nyx in parallel, and they're releasing them first, and then they'll release Terra at the end, because clearly it needs more work. It'll also probably do. I don't know if they'll get around to doing ArcCorp as well, but as well as I do, the stuff for Terra is also needed for ArcCorp.
Yeah, the underground tunnels and stuff that they want to put into ArcCorp. So that's probably if I'm talking gameplay that I expect to see, because they talked about it last year. I wouldn't be surprised to see that type of being brought in now as well. So. Yeah.
All right, just real quick, I'm going onto the star map. We'll have a quick look.
That was the other thing I was going to say. What you just made me remember is with as they're doing that parallel development of as I think Nyx, Castra, and Terra, and I think you're probably right. If there's the moons in say Pyro or Nyx, if there's a moon in there that is similar to a moon or planets in Terra, you're going to see them almost. I couldn't see them not working on both at the same time in that situation.
Well, again, they're going to build a lot of new tile sets. So one of the reasons I got really excited, you remember, is there's a lava planet in Terra.
Yeah.
And everything else that I could see, there was nothing that hadn't kind of already been done before. It was just like modifying slightly. So it was the only really one that I saw that was like a new tile set. Because like, again, you can take what's it called? The one in Castra with the mountains. It's essentially like a mountainous version of Microtech, because it's got snow and stuff, but it's just mountains instead of the forestry stuff. So you can kind of look at, say, something like Cellin that had mountains and stuff like that. So it's not tech that they don't already have. It's just kind of moving this.
Now, here's a question for you.
Hang on. Startup Green says, "What is this ridiculously early stream? Who do you think you are, Mr. Salty?" Well, we figured that we have to do it at 4 a.m. tomorrow, so let's just get up 4 a.m. today and get the body clock going. Sherman, thank you. It's Sherman. That was what I was trying to remember. Thank you very much, Captain David. Yes. Sorry, Algared. Go ahead.
So the planet tech, the new planetary tech that they're bringing in. What if it actually is the lava planet that they're actually working on?
That would be really cool.
Because it's the one tile set they don't have. So
yeah, I could really get behind that. I want my Mustafa. Just put it that way. It's what I want. And do you know what Mustafa is, or you got no idea?
Star Wars, you moron.
Okay, cool.
Of course I know.
Just checking. So one of the things I've noticed is they don't really talk about the moons much in some of these systems, right? So if you go back to Nyx, right, it's got 3 planets, but it doesn't say anything about moons. So those moons could be complete outliers, right? And we know, if you look at what happened with Nyx, the moons are some of the most interesting places, because they really changed the whole thing. Oh, that's an interesting point. Captain David says Lava Valakar. Ooh.
Yep.
There'll
be a Valakar in every region and every type and nasty thing. So
yeah.
That's how you get a plethora of monsters without having a plethora of monsters in code.
Yeah. Well, again, and almost every animal they bring in, right? So we've got these big worms, but that was one of the cool things about the evolution. Like can we eventually get a space cow Algared where it's it'll attack you, right? Like it's more it's not
aggressive.
Yeah. Like do the eggs somehow like morph it to be something different. Like, and I'd have to sit here and think about it. So like, does it like a real extreme version is they fire fireballs out of their eggs or something? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of like a way you could morph that cow to be like very sinister and stuff like that. So like it's more like a a running of the bull's bull than just a chewing the grass bull.
Can we get some nice cute cuddly copions to for as our domestic pet,
Yeah, so you can see here, obviously, one, like, it's got two massive planets in this one. And I know these are both livable from memory. But you can see they're kind of named almost like Stanton as well. So this is a very Stanton 2.0 type of analogy. So like where you can clearly see Stanton is much bigger than Pyro, this will be that as well. And I think it's even bigger again than Stanton in regards to the Super Earth. It's very, very big, and it has multiple landing zones. So you can kind of see with Delamar kind of already having the landing zone done, they've really only got to do Sherman for Astra, but then they're going to do all the landing zones for here, and this is where I think most of the meat and potatoes is going for the landing zone team. And then the planetary tech is obviously it's going into here as well. But yeah, this is a really interesting system, and the scary thing about Nick's one as well. So I was looking at it yesterday. I don't think I've got it open, but there are 6 jump points that go into Nick's. That's like a hub system.
That's why Nix is so important, and why I think you will see the UEE force them to join.
Because it's directly connected to Vandal because of it. Yeah.
It's directly connected to Vandal space. It's a hub. It's a planet that UE claimed. It's still UEE space. It's just they just haven't got a population for representation. And the current residents don't really want to be represented, much to their detriment. In the long run.
I do wish they'd changed the name of it though. I hate how we have Delimar and Delimar or whatever. Do you mean they sound exactly the same? There's like one letter difference.
Daymar and Delimar.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my god, like come on guys. Like, do you know I found out the other day that I found another version of the Liberator. There is another skin called the Liberator. So there's now like 4 instances of Liberator in Star Citizen. And I also, that other one I linked you, there's a skin for the Spirit called the Intrepid. So we now got like multiple double ups of shit. Like, it's just like, what the hell? It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's the Mustang. I think the Mustang's got a Liberator skin.
Yeah. It's just
and then there's
they keep running into the same names all the time, which is kind of, like they're going to have to go back retroactively and do a massive retcon before it comes out. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think Terra, like when you break down the planets, Terra's clearly got its lion's share of the work to go. But also that tech has clearly got to be brought back to ArcCorp. Because again, I think the other one you'd have to agree with me about Stanton, that's not one that a lot of people talk about, is Grimhex. Grimhex clearly, if they're putting the asteroid tech into Nyx, because they've got that massive asteroid belt, and you've got Delimar, then taking that back and doing it to Grimhex would have to be on the cards at some stage.
And even adding some Maranpar type abandoned settlements or a couple of outposts in around the Nyx area.
Well, we heard that on the Around the Verse and stuff, didn't we? They literally talked about that, so you're not wrong.
So I'd expect to see those sprinkled throughout the Grimhex asteroid field or that asteroid field to make it a bit more exciting and more places of interest to go to. So enough rope to hang myself off.
All right, next question when you're ready, mate.
I'll just tick that one. Clever Ghost. Since we're gathering biological parts, foundation for science, maybe?
Well, yes, we did an episode on that, didn't we? We kind of realized collecting of animal body parts leads into science, and obviously they'll be a part of crafting as well. So what is the ship, Algared, that mushes animals or processes animals? See,
that's the 890 jump.
What they old man Hurst just said processing
That's
order.
right.
But
Well, would you like some Valakar yeah, what is it? Some Valakar tongue,
I think we'll
Valakar tongue
probably
steak, or you know,
see it in a building before we see it in a ship. Like I don't see an
yeah,
abattoir ship anytime soon, but I could see
no,
an
no.
abattoir.
Oh, I think you'll definitely see an abattoir. I think
Yeah.
that's the type of thing you'd also see on your ranch. But certainly the 890 jump screams crafting and cooking and the culinary arts. So gathering those biological parts and then combining them to create food dishes and that are better than the 5-minute noodles and Twiki bars and gosh knows what else.
This boy Pete's just shown up in chat, said, "What the hell time do you call this?" And I said, "I call it early." And he said, "Damn right." Pete did actually help me with a thing for tomorrow, so I'm going to show you this really quick. I showed it to Algared earlier.
So thank you, Pete.
He sat there and talked me through it. So this is what it. That's actually flicked it over now. So yeah, this is what we'll be going with for tomorrow.
Sneak peek.
Yeah, Pete helped me do this in. Well, he sat there and we kind of worked it out together because I haven't done a lot of DaVinci Resolved and either had he, but we knew what we had to do. We just had to find it and talk it through. But yeah, we got there in the end and it looks pretty cool, I think. So yeah, that's what we're going to go with for CitizenCon tomorrow. Right.
Yeah, all starry.
Yes.
Starry night.
I think it doesn't actually. Yeah, it updates it live. Okay, that's a disadvantage that I found, Pete. With the other one, it actually it would hold it. So I've now found a negative for nested scenes, Pete. So there we go. Anyway.
There you go. But thank you for helping.
Yeah, it was appreciated. I really do appreciate it. All right.
Indeed.
Next question, please.
Next question is from Charlie Mike 76. What's your prediction for the dumbest thing we'll see tomorrow?
Ooh. You know what my answer is? La 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 la.
10 minutes of filler.
No, I was going to say a certain person. We'll leave it at that.
Yep.
Right.
10 minutes of filler or, yeah.
All right.
So considering it's such a short.
Yeah, before we get into more trouble, let's move on.
Short show, any filler is going to be silly, in my opinion. How much do you think the Hermes will go for? This is ex-Goblin.
How much do we think the Hermes will go for? I think it would be around 250 is my kind of ballpark. The MSR is 260, so I think it's got to be. I think they'll deliberately make it cheaper than the Apollo because the Apollo also comes with all the modules. So yeah. If
it's a modular variant, then because we know from what CIG has said that the ships that are bespoke or standard are better at the job, so they have a higher price. In a sense, I'd expect it to be slightly better because it can do less. But they might go the other way and say because it's got modules, it pushes the price up. So yeah, but around that price, give or take. Depends on what they decide to make it.
You wouldn't expect a cargo module to be expensive as a medical module, as an example. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Yeah. Sergeant Grimm says, not sure, Inforunners, not sure if you saw, but Starship 42 is shutting down. A bit sad to see. It is a great site. I still use it. I'm going to be honest, we used to use it a lot back in the day, but since you made it, I think we've never touched it again because it just runs. It's not as taxing on computers, and I could open multiple versions. Where when I remember back in the day, because we'd try and open multiple pages, my computer would literally just crap itself. But yeah,
it's one of the reasons why we started using yours all the time. We could have multiple variants of a page open when we're doing Fix My Fleet.
So it's your fault, Graham. Yeah, good job. You killed him.
Yep.
Good job. Yeah, good. No. I think it's just a sign of the times too. People come and go, sadly. And it will be an end of an era. They've been there for a very long time. I don't know what to say there. Yeah. It'd be sad to see him go.
Yep.
All right, Algared.
I'm not sure what Mr. Ducky is in Twitch is talking about, where he says another fake promise from Chris that is 10 years away.
Probably replying to someone else's question. Speaking of questions,
possibly.
Next question.
Yeah. Next question. George Smith. The possible Vandal ship coming looks like a one-person ship in a squadron video. Am I missing something?
I wouldn't
I
say
think he's talking about the Shiv.
I think he's talking about the Stinger. Because it's from the video.
Yep.
But I don't think it's one person. I think it's two people because there's clearly a turret on it. So I think it's a 2-person minimum. I think it's similar to a 2-person F8 is essentially, but from Vandal. Yeah.
Vandal Hurricane or Vandal gunship.
Wouldn't be Hurricane because Hurricane's got that quad turret on it. So it's more like a cross between the F8 and a Super Hornet.
But I'm picking I'm picking on the Hurricane because it's that 2-person gameplay loop.
Yep. It just gives the wrong visual impression. Because it's got a tiny little turret on it. The turret is actually one of the smallest parts on it. Yeah.
Right. So it's more like a MISC. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
more like a freelancer.
Probably more like a Vanguard or something. With the little turret on top. So it is mainly an F8 with a tiny little turret, but the turret's got to be controlled by someone. So I'd say it's probably a 2-person, and it looks like it's got an interior based on that same trailer that you've looked at there as well. So yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Next one.
Corn Cob.
Yep.
What is one thing you hope to see at SitCon?
Another silhouette video. They provide us with so much content over the year. They entertain me for hours on end. I know Starjump Grim will be the same. They allow us to speculate and just have fun for hours trying to figure that shit out. Yeah.
I enjoy trying to work it out, but even I sometimes get worn out by executes.
I love it.
I know you it becomes your bread and butter for the next 6 months, and it's like,
I like the mystery.
Again, no.
I love the mystery, and Grim is the same. That's why I go talk to Grim. You don't give me time of day with it. That's fine. I'll just I'll go find other friends that will want to talk and play with me in my sandcastle. In my sandpit.
I love working up the ships. I love speculating on the ships, but sometimes it's like,
yep.
Actually, I want to go play somewhere else. Yeah.
All right, that's a good one. Grim actually said also a Kraken concept preview. Yeah, that's a really good one. I am like, they kind of gave us that last year with the private Pioneer, so that'd be really cool to see with the Kraken. I'd really like to see early work on the Kraken, because let's be honest, that thing's probably going to get an update as well. So, and if it might grow, it might, what are they going to do with some of the extra rooms? One of the things that they talked about was, I think you asked them the question, I could be wrong, when we had lunch with them last year, about putting medical bay in it, so things like that. So yeah,
well, that's not something they'd hinted at in the past anyway. A medical bed on the Kraken. So it's something I expect them to do.
Oh, what's that?
That for me is not something. Ryback 6 is gifting a 1-tier 1 sub to Inforunners community. They've gifted a total of 5 in the channel, so they've got hearts because they've gifted 5 subs over the time.
Solomon the Vengeful got the sub. Make sure to say thanks to Ryback 6 there for your sub.
Yep.
Right. Next question when you're ready.
All right. This is obviously for you. Krivitus says, Krivicus says, do you think we'll get some Intrepid variants this year?
I think it's heavily implied, based off the video we got at the start of the year. I'll see if I can bring this up real quick. RSI salvage concept, and then images, and then it's this. Come on, open. Yeah, I think this is what we're getting. I think the possible variants for the Intrepid have other gameplay connotations. So for example, if I look at the Intrepid, I can't unsee 2 kind of bounty hunter pods, like the way that they are perfectly aligned and they go right down to the ground. It makes a lot of sense to have 2 bounty hunter pods that kind of go in there. The single big gun, I can't unsee that kind of design. It looks very bounty huntery. So that's a gameplay that's not in. So they've kind of gone, well, that's not going to be ready to release, so let's make another starter ship.
And like each of those sneak peeks or not sneak peeks, but concept art as they were developing the ship, they all look fairly well developed.
Yeah.
They all look fairly well, thought out. So the first one above your head, I think, is definitely the RSI Intrepid. But then the other two, they're cool looking as well.
Wait, you think this is the Intrepid?
No, that's the RSI salvagey type.
No, but you said something about the Intrepid. That's what's confusing me.
I misspoke.
Oh, okay. Right. You were confusing the shit out of me. I was like...
But I could easily see those, those other ships coming.
Yeah.
As ships they bring out. Whenever I do something like that, it's almost like the curtain.
Well, the really good example that you'd think back to Algared is like, you and I talked about this one in the middle. Looks a bit like the Pisces, right? But the Pisces itself came out, and then it was like 2 or 3 years before we got the C8R, right?
Yeah.
So that there's precedence for them to come back and do that again. I think the only one that we've really seen them in rapid succession like that was the Cutter, where they got the Cutter 1 year, and then the very next year we got the Scout and the Rambler. There's a question there by Mr. Ducky that I want to roll in with this is what do you think about the salvage changes? Well, I think that's why we're getting the salvage changes. It's clearly pointing at a salvage ship coming in. And if you look back to the ISC as well, that they did where they had Jean Crew and Ben on, Ben literally said an orange large salvager. So we might even be getting 2 salvages. This one as a starter, and a larger one that I suspect is... Obviously, when you say orange, right, it goes Argo, but orange is also Consolidate Outland, and we know for a fact they need to build ships to go from the Nomad all the way to the Pioneer. So that implies you need the medium, which was in the blue silhouette video, but then you need a large, which I think may be the Salvager, to get all the way up. Now, that's not a guarantee, but you definitely need the ships to bridge that gap. We know that from based on everything they've said multiple times on RSI and Drake and et cetera, So the only way to do that is to basically do it. And orange, to say, not just directly saying Argo, I think the orange is a deliberate misdirect. It's to make you think Argo, but it's most likely Consolidate Outland. I think that's why they did it that way. But we'll have to wait and see. The last part of Mr. Ducky's question is, what do you think about the salvage changes? Did you...
I don't mind the changes they're doing to salvage. It's a bit like mining. Mining came out at tier 0.
Yep.
Then they started adding the bits and pieces and fleshing mining out and making it more developed. Yep. And that's really all we're seeing with salvage.
So what I'm saying, one of the things you and I suspected is that it was ships that would be really good at scraping, and then there'd be ships really good at, like, they've essentially called it powder and rubble is kind of what they've gone for. And so I think this will be more of a powder thing, where something like a reclaimer is more into the rubble side. And that's something they kind of talked about in terms of the vulture versus the reclaimer, the difference between them. Why have a vulture over a reclaimer? Because the vulture's better at getting the good stuff. Yeah. So I like that balance. It's a way of balance. It's a way of changing, adding value to even the smaller ships and doing that stuff. So it just stretches out the gameplay. It just makes it's one of the
every
things,
ship valuable. And
it's one of those things you and I have talked about for years, is how do you do that and they don't all become the same? So, mining and salvage is just a size-based thing. How do you have every gameplay so every single size of ship is valid, but how every single ship is also different? So it's not just these are the small ships, it's smaller quantity, etc. So that'll obviously happen in one tier, but in every tier it's got a little different feel. And I think I think I can see they're starting to hit on that.
Yeah, and I think part of the changes as well is looking at the gathering of a resource that will be used in building. So it's starting to balance along those lines.
100% agree. I think that's kind of where they're going, is that mining and salvage are going to be the first 2 things that feed into it, and then obviously as they bring farming and agriculture and abattoirs or whatever else you want to call it online, they'll also lead into it. So you'll probably, for example, how are you going to make a mat, right? So say you're going to make a mat or something for your house. Initially, it's going to probably be made out of 4 metal or something like that. But later on, it'll probably be made out of fur from one of the space cows or something like that. But they just don't have that gameplay online yet. So
it's a way of building up the building. Like, you don't need those fancy stuff for your refinery, but you do need the more fancy stuff for your habitation pods. So
quickly see why crafting is bigger than base building, don't you? Because crafting feeds into many different gameplays, not just base building. And then obviously the other side of it is there are gameplays like the agriculture, for example, there, and the hunting and stuff like that don't even exist yet. So we're going to be coming back to this crafting mentality for a few years yet, I think.
I do hope that they don't do housing or buildings like Lotro or other games where, yes, you can put stuff in the building, but there's hooks, so you can only put, there's a small hook here, so you can only put small things there.
Yeah.
And it's more like Daok, where you could put X number of things in the building, but where you put them was up to you. So
well, they did talk about nodes way back when, but maybe it's changed, maybe it hasn't. We'll have to kind of wait and see, because that initial system. Do you remember we used to have to spawn your ships on nodes? Do you remember that way back when?
Yeah.
So annoying.
You have to go in, find a node, and click. Spawn the ship. Yeah.
Well, it breaks the immersion because you can only spawn it in a very select area. Yeah, I think like, again, if I think back and watch, like, I've watched Expat and Pissball Pete on stream, they've just been placing stuff wherever they want, and the persistent universe just kind of remembers where it is. So I think it's even more advanced than that. I think it's just wherever you want to put it.
And I hope so. I hope that's what they do with the buildings. Within reason. So that's just me doing a bit of retroactive, nostalgic dreaming of what used to be, and it seemed games seem to diverge from that. What was, Dark was a 1980s game, and yet it was far advanced compared to most games in terms of doing the buildings and fleshing out how you furnished or decorated your building. There were only X number of buildings you could have. But the way you decorated, people, you go into a little township where players would build their houses, and people would often have their houses open just so you could go through and have a look. You couldn't steal anything from them, but you could actually go and have a look and see how it decorated and what they'd done. And
I have no doubt that there'll be people that literally become decorators in this game. That'll be their profession, where they, it's not a real profession, but people will pay them to come through and lay stuff out for them.
Yep. But anyway, that's that one done. Oh, not that person.
What's wrong with Griffin?
I'm just yanking him.
Yanking his chain. Oh, okay. Right.
Yep.
Right.
Griffin Gaming RPG says, any ideas on why Wicklow is focusing on customizing ships and paints versus why other offerings of flair rather than offering other items on flair from his Emporium? Because he's Banu.
I think they kind of put the best kind of looking variant of whatever the current model of gear is in there, and it's their, like, I've come to the conclusion that Wicklow is essentially a way to force you to test shit. Right, so they put a new currency in. So looking at the Yamundi, the new currency is eyes and tongues. Last time it was the regents from the Project Hyperion. And for every time they're essentially changing the currency to force you to test the new shit they want tested. That's what it is. He's a testing mechanic.
You want to get that new fancy limited edition armor?
Yep, I've got it. It was a nightmare, but I've got it.
You've got to go down and do their new gameplay.
Yeah.
And that means you test the new gameplay, you test the new mission, you test the stuff they're bringing in, you test the new Valakar, They get all that data, and you get a fancy new skin. Yep.
So, realistically speaking, too, if we look at yesterday, Algared, about I think it was a little bit after 10 a.m. our time, so that is roughly 4 hours from now, is when the PTU patch dropped. So it was about 1 a.m. in Manchester. That's kind of roughly where I'm kind of expecting another patch to drop, and I think that will be the release candidate for CitizenCon. Knowing CitizenCon's tomorrow, it'd have to be a release candidate, or they're going PTU for all. They've done that in previous years as well. It already is PTU for all, so we might be in another PTU CitizenCon. Have you kept abreast of that or not? Because I at this stage there are some bugs in there. A lot of people are saying it's not ready for live.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to do that too much. My, as I told you the other day, my graphics card is not liking graphic-heavy games at the moment.
Yeah, we'll have to go through that, because one of the things I was saying to him, I think he's had his card for a really long time. I think he's
Well, it's a 1080 Ti.
Yeah, so that's pretty damn old. But I think the I'm brain farting what they call it. The gel or the shit that you put on the GPU or the CPU has dried up. And I'm trying to think of the name, but I just, for the life of me, I'm brain farting what they call that shit.
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Thanks, C Daddy. See you tomorrow, bud. Just comes in and drops that and then runs off. Thanks, C Daddy. Hope you're working hard. Thermal paste, that's the one. Yeah, thermal paste. I think he's got to re-thermal paste it. I think that's the issue on that one. So we're gonna have to go through. We're gonna do an Algared live stream, and we all watch and laugh as he opens his CH.
No.
And you have 100 people watching you.
No.
Because Algared would not handle the stress. I know that very well. But that'd be pretty funny.
I would fall apart under the stress of having people tell me what to do when I'm trying to do it but not working. It's worse when Execute's doing.
Yeah. I am a very impatient person, and
He is.
I have to really restrain myself a lot, and I'll be like, let me fix in 5 seconds.
Yeah, and I'm the complete opposite.
He's very casual compared to me. You know?
I want to go step by step, but take my time, make sure I do it right. And no, do it. Why aren't you doing it? And it's like a woodpecker.
So Admiral Kansianagi is saying that it was released in 2017. So you've had that card for 8 years. That is as long as the Klaus and Werner guns were first concepted in Star Citizen. So you're due for another one.
I am due for another one. It's but it's one of those things that they are
not cheap anymore.
Not cheap.
So yeah, we're looking into helping them get another one sooner rather than later. So we'll see what happens there.
So
we're hoping it would hold out till early next year, but we'll see.
I was hoping, but unfortunately that's going to be further away because I had to pay for plumbing this week, so
I have some
joy.
Real quick, I have some friends in Sydney. If I got them to come around, they know who you are because they know I am. You know the guys I'm talking about. If they came round, would you let them meet them and let them help you? Would you be willing to take that offer or no?
I'll have to think about it.
Yeah,
I'll let you know.
All right, you have to think about it. But
you're dropping it. You're dropping a.
Yeah. I know. There's one guy in particular. I don't understand the one guy, but the one guy, I think he'd be able to help you do it, and it'd take the stress off you. That's why I'm suggesting it.
Yep.
Right, next question, ready when you're ready.
Next question. That was Griffin Gamer's question. Xbox Shot Gaming says.
Just drop the Xbox Shot Gaming.
Yep. If they could only talk about 3 things at CitCon Direct, what do you feel are 1, the 3 things they talk about, 2,
the 3 ships
one of the 3 things you'd most like to talk about? So,
I'm going to believe it or not. Like I for me, it's always ships. Like I really enjoy the ships. You know, so I don't have a problem. Like I know a lot of people get over the marketing, and it is a marketing, but I still like the ships. right? Even though they market them, I still want to know about them because that they have a lot of the gameplay, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know what is it?
Well, I've always liked looking at the ships. I've always
Mm.
liked. I don't always necessarily love a ship, but I always love seeing a new ship and then weighing up what are the possible advantages of that ship over, and trying to work out how that ship fits into the matrix of Star Citizen. It was one of the things I think they did wrong with the Odyssey. They misrepresent. I think the Odyssey was always misrepresented.
I agree.
Because of where, like, it was even pushed as being that the Carrack equivalent. And when you look at the size of those ships, then it doesn't compare. It's just a. So I think they misrepresented it. But I love looking at the ships. I love trying to work out how the ships work into the gameplay, what that means, and also means a variation. Even if the similar ship's doing a similar thing, it gives variation to the game. So you're not just seeing 50 million Auroras flying around. It's so.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Shabby Walk says, "What do you think is the blocker for the Liberator, especially since they've been working on the Paladin and Ironclad? The gameplay, clearly the gameplay. It's not a very big ship. You could almost do that as an onboarding task if you really think about it. It's just the gameplay. It's just the hacking gameplay. And they talked about hacking all the way back when they talked about bounty hunting, and that's almost 2 Invictuses ago. It was around that Invictus time, wasn't it? So
it's like, if you look at the steps they've needed for that, they needed ships to go soft def. So they needed them to get to a point where they didn't just go black. But we've now got that. They needed docking. We've now got docking. So what's the one thing that's really stopping it? The hacking. So, yeah.
And hacking's just not a priority when you've got other things like base building and that are going to come in. So they probably had some people working on it in the background, but, the team that was working on it probably dropped way down. But again, we've seen little hints here and there all the way along for bounty hunting and that. And we've even seen data running come in there as well.
Ashra Kitano says, the Liberator is not the hacking mate, that's the Legionnaire. And they're right.
I'm thinking of the other one, aren't I? The Legionnaire. I think I've mixed up my Legionnaire and Liberator. I'm an idiot. We do this a lot. Right. Liberator's the big thing. Right. Well, it's the same thing. Priority. What do you get out of having the Liberator? The Liberator was originally designed as a ferry between
the shipping ship
to take smaller ships that didn't have the jump drives through the jump points. They've literally retroactively gone back and made it so a lot of the smaller ships, like the 100i, for example, didn't have a jump drive, and now it does, right? So they've essentially, because they saw that as too much of a gate for starter players.
Yeah,
I think that's where they've gone, and so they've removed that. So there's just not a priority for the Liberator. I think realistically, they'll probably rework the Liberator to only transfer ships. And they'll probably remove the ground vehicle part because that's what the Assault does in the Ironclad.
Yeah.
Sorry for the mix up there.
I could see them doing a variant of the Liberator that did the ground. It was basically a ground assault.
Yeah.
As a similar ship to the Ironclad, but from a different manufacturer to give people choice, because CIG likes doing that. But yeah, I think you're right, and thank you for that correction, because we were both doing this. We both did exactly the same thing. We both got into that.
We do that a lot, where we mix up ones that have very similar names. Dex Zine also says fuel needs to matter, and I'd agree with that as well.
Yeah.
That we've only got the Starfarer that does refueling. There's another whole gameplay that's sitting there in the game. Where's the series of ships for refueling? So
I could see. The Liberator, with its landing pad being a kind of a Marimpa mobile fuel station. The Carrack, but Kraken, I could see when it comes in also doing that role where you can go there and get land refuel and go.
I think it kind of already is Algared if you think about it, because it has that cargo bay area down there. It's just that it's more hand based than. Like an actual fabricator or whatever. So you would just have fuel and supplies in the cargo bay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that they hinted that that was the type of thing it was, but back then it was primarily it was, as we've always said, a shipping ship, and if that's no longer needed, how are we going to rejig that to make it a meaningful ship in the game?
Yeah, and again, that's happened with a few ships. Pioneer's another good example. Yeah, I think it's one of the ships where the role has changed a little bit. They'll come back to it. I would suspect it'll probably be when they work on something bigger from Anvil, and obviously, from what we've speculated there, it's probably not going to be to around episode 3. That's kind of when I expect that they'll be working on the bigger Anvil ships. If you kind of look at Squadron, a lot of the bigger ships are very Aegis based, and we know in lore that Aegis is older but on the way out. If you kind of think about it, and there's a lot of smaller Anvil ships, right? And I think it's going to be the reverse in episode 3. So we've got smaller Aegis ships like the Wolf, Bear Claw, and the Wolf Claw, and things like that, and maybe some newer manufacturers coming in, and then the Anvil capitals will be the ones we see.
Yeah. So I think you're right. You'll see that change. So it's not that Aegis are going bankrupt or anything like that, or that they lost their favour with the UE. They used to be very a
decline,
big heavy mesa. Yeah, and they went into decline, and now they're rebuilding their reputation. So.
Yeah. So they're they're focusing on different ships. So 10 years, maybe. I remember way back when they said it'd be like at least 2 years between Squadron episode 1 and 2. I think we can clearly say it's probably going to be longer than that. But I definitely think the again, I'd like to hear from Grim if he's still in chat, but I think the Kraken going into production is clearly so it's ready to go for the start of episode 2 to begin production. I think the Kraken is a ship in episode 2. I think this is just, again, my speculation. Feel free to destroy, rip my thoughts apart. I have no basis in this whatsoever. It just makes a lot of logical sense to me. I think something happens at the end of Squadron 42 to the UEE Stanton, and you lose the Idris. And my thought has often been, we know that when the game starts, you're at Shubin, and essentially you're fighting with the OMC, which are the human kind of pirates. Now, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I think when, like, you've heard the term, when aliens come down, all religion will kind of disappear. I think what'll happen is you'll be fighting the Vandal. You're about to destroy them or stop them, and then the Vandal will turn up and stop you from doing that. And so you'll have to go fight the Vandal, and they're about to destroy you, and the OMC will turn up and save you. And that you'll probably start episode 2 on a Kraken. And that would imply also things like why we don't have the medium fighter from Drake, why we don't have the heavy fighter from Drake, because there'll be fighters that came in during the Squadron episode 2 campaign. And then you'll eventually move off the Kraken onto, say, something like maybe a Polaris or something like that towards the end of episode 2. That's just my kind of thought. I don't know if there's any truth to it.
It sounds reasonable. I know from the sneak peeks we've had in the past, you've got that impression that the Idris doesn't survive. So of UEE Stanton doesn't survive. It'll be sad if it doesn't, because you'll build that. I think you'll build that
rapport,
that link with the characters. It's a bit hard to say rapport with the NPCs, but you know what I mean. You'll have invested time, so you'll want to see them survive. So we're going to see lots of them kick the bucket. I'd love to see it come out within 2 years, because that means any of the actors who have been involved could possibly be drawn back again and not be too old.
If you think back to other games that you played, there's a part in the game where I can think of several games off the top of my head where there's a part in the campaign, even if it's just like, I know we're getting 3 episodes, but I'm thinking of multiple games like Half-Life's done it. And we know that this Squadron's heavily based on Half-Life and Titanfall 2. That's the type of gameplay they're going for. I'm trying to remember the one that had the Indian guy in it, and I can't remember the name of it, but it happened in that as well, where you lose all your powers or weapons or whatever, and you kind of reset. and that makes a logical sense to me to reset you into a Drake era where
Yep.
you've still got the fighters and stuff, but you're kind of like below where you start. You've got the skill, but you don't have the ship, so it's kind of resets it in a weird way, and then you've got to go off in episode 2.
Rebuild up your skills and your capabilities in your ship.
Yeah, so I think it'd be a great way to start out episode 2. You know, you're in like these junker ships. You know, like I think that sounds cool to me.
And the other thing is, you know, we've talked about add-ons. Like the only way I can think of, you know, the alien races, playable alien races. Now, CIG, you know, I don't think that was originally part of their plan, but they know that's a popular aspect of what people want. You know, do they transition the DLC for Squadron as episode 2, or do we have, you know, just advancing the mission, doing alien, you know, going off into different branches, you know? So
yeah, and the other thing is like when you kind of get the engine kind of finished, it's a lot easier to keep making content for a more finished engine. So it's not going to take the same 10-year period. They will probably add some new tech in there. You know, as I told you, that one of the basic recipes for game development is thirds. So you have a third old, a third modified, and a third new. And I think we're already seeing that in things already, because like we've got the Mark 1 Hornets and the Mark 2 Hornets is another good example.
And like I know, you know, people. I can remember the discussions when people were saying, "Why didn't Chris start from scratch instead of using a new system and looking at the advantages and disadvantages?" But I can also remember why people saying, "Why didn't you just use this and just tack stuff on?" And Chris's response was, "If we build from the ground up, knowing where we want to go, and we leave the space or put the hooks in where we can attack in, you know, develop the code as we're going, that's better than trying to jury rig something into code as we go." So, but that takes time.
There's pros and negatives there, obviously. Like with where things have gone now because of the problems they had with Crytek. Essentially, it's its own engine now. You know, with it, thanks to Amazon Lumberyard giving them their own license, so they're essentially able to do their own stuff now. They more than likely can't sell the engine because of the license with Amazon, but they can more than likely probably make other games on it. Whereas if they had made, let's just say, for example, they'd use Unreal Tournament, a part of the thing there is that tech goes back to Epic. So this whole planetary tech and everything would have been rolled into that engine and then given to everyone else. So we would have essentially paid for them to give this tech to everyone else, and Epic would have made a fortune off it.
Yep. You know, so that would suck.
So that would kind of suck and remove the uniqueness of it. And the way that that's gone out is, it's taken longer and it's a bit more difficult. It's definitely a more difficult engine to mod, as an example, than Unreal would be. There'll be a lot more people that know how to use Unreal. But you can see the pros and cons there. Less people that can work on it, so it's harder and takes longer to get done. But now that it's done or about to be done, it's more unique. It's their own thing.
But you'll also know and recall, you know, that discussion about how the game could have worked, you know, when not No Man's Sky Elite came out. You know, people saying, why don't we release Star Citizen now as a base, and then put the other things in, a bit like Elite was doing. They put out the base and then they were slotting the other things in.
And now Elite Dangerous is essentially redoing a lot of its foundation work because it's built the house upside down.
And Chris's response was, you know, that's one way of doing it, but it has benefits, but it also has disadvantages. We're taking this approach so that adding things is a lot smoother and easier down the track. So
and I agree. It's the better approach because you don't have it's better planned out and more long term and more stable. I
like that approach. But the downside of that approach is it takes you
much longer,
significantly longer to get your product out.
Well, again, look at the very slow pace where they kind of had something very early to show, but it had no depth. None. You know. And again, I think you would agree, even just Stanton on its own is incredibly deep compared to the whole of Elite, which is just the same shit duplicated over and over and over, slightly different changes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right.
Rocket Man
Yep.
194 says, do you think the Reclaimer updates are a sign they are currently working on update rework? Oh, hang on. Do you think the Reclaim updates are a sign they're currently working on an update rework, or a sign of a band-aid kick up a can down the road?
We talked about this before, so it's an RSI salvage and most likely another salvage ship coming.
Yep.
To give an example, we saw medical reworks happening, and then the Apollo came out.
Yep.
We're seeing a lot of missile reworks in the current patch, and the Stinger is due to come out very soon. You know, so when they're often working on something, it's preempting something else coming. So the fact that they're working on salvage tells me it's got something to do with at least one salvage ship coming.
Yep.
I think you would agree with me on that, mate.
Yep. And and the complaints about the rejigging of the economy with the salvage materials you get, and the value that you get for those salvage materials now. It's a rebalance of the economy. It's getting ready for I think buildings, and if it's too little, that's okay. It'll get balanced. So I think it's a good thing. I don't think those Reclaimer changes are necessarily a bad thing. So yeah, I don't think it's a kick down the road. I think it's just a sign of development.
Yep. PC Gaming Radio says, "What your plan for food and snacks and drinks for this?" Shit, I haven't got any. I'm gonna have to do that today. Food and snacks. Shit. I don't know.
I usually basically fast during a stream.
I do.
So yep.
I usually have just a lot of liquid because I get a bit dry with all the talking.
Yep.
So for me, it'll probably be a big bowl of water. I'll probably go mobile for a part of it. Like, you know me, I do like to walk around my house while I do things. So what we're kind of planning to do, we have talked about changing the plan a little bit this year, and I guess I could do a poll here. This would actually be a good chance to poll the community, I think. So we were originally planning to do what we do every year, where we just watch it with you guys, and then we were going to rewatch it straight away afterwards, and then analyze the shit out of it. Right? That was our original plan. But back when we did this, because last year we obviously didn't do it because Paul was doing it because we were at CitizenCon. It was the first time they've actually streamed it directly on YouTube as well. So what's the point of watching us do the same thing that the live stream would be doing? So we might as well just talk at the same time as it's doing it live. That was kind of my thinking. So that makes sense to me. I don't think it makes sense to do it separately anymore. Maybe we don't need to do a poll because it's kind of it just makes sense to me to talk about it as it's live.
And the fact that it's pre-recorded rather than a live.
Yes.
Thing. It's not a matter of, hang on, I want to hear what they're saying because I can. Yeah. So.
Well, that's the other thing. We could technically, because it's a live stream on Twitch now, you have the ability to pause, so we can just pause as we're watching it. Right. So if we want to, we could literally start out live, but we might finish half an hour after they've actually finished. If we want to do it.
More like an hour afterwards.
You know what I mean, right? Like we could actually pause it all the way through. So these guys are saying, there's a couple of people in chat saying watch it separate. So you reckon split is better? So you actually want to watch it live and then you want to watch it? Okay.
You want us to sit there like just watching it?
But that you gotta look at it from the point of view of like, I don't think anyone would be watching it. Why would you watch us live not talking?
Yeah.
And just restreaming what they're doing, but you could just go watch their channel. Why would you watch us when you can watch actual? You know what I mean? So it was just like my brain goes, well, just go watch them if you want to watch it in silence, and we'll just pause it and unpause it as we want to talk. So I think that's kind of where my brain's going. Grim's going to join us as well. Nonstop Bops is going to drop by afterwards. So we're going to probably start 2 hours before. So the time this stream started today, we're going to start tomorrow. And then we're going to talk for 2 hours beforehand. We're going to watch it, and then we're going to watch for about 2 hours. Probably talk for about 2 hours afterwards. And Bops is going to drop in and join us for that as well. And he's obviously going to want to talk about a lot of the Vandal stuff and the PvP stuff and stuff like that, and it'll be a good chance for us to hang out with him.
Yeah.
So people watch live reactions. So that's kind of where my thing is at. So I think we'll just try it a little different this year. And if people let us know in the comments of the live stream your thoughts. I'm just trying to stay with the times. I don't know how else to put that.
Yeah. Look, I've got to say one of the things that we were, as we're thinking of the idea of not actually being on camera while we're going live, is the fact that we don't have to have these bright lights on.
So we can do this. We can, hey Google, turn off stream lights.
And then
and we just sit there in the dark and it's totally fine and my eyes not stinging. It's great. Hey Google, turn on stream lights. Right, so
it's 6 hours under lights is feels like being interrogated. So.
Yeah. So
there is a bit of self-seeking preservation in our thought process of just.
Realistically, though, we'll probably be on audio. I don't think we'll be on camera, so you can still turn the lights off, mate. Because 6 hours is way too much to be under these lights. So that'll give us a 2 hours, a 2 hour break, and then another 2 hours. So it'll be akin to doing a 4 hour live stream that we used to do back in the day with a break.
Yeah. So Admiral Kasangi says, "Why would I watch Execute eat a ham and cheese while watching the Star Citizen videos and then not talking?"
Yeah, because he wouldn't be able to make stop his erection.
Because you wouldn't have he wouldn't be
able to stop his erection. Like it's real obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'd have a 6 hour pain in his pants. Yeah, for all that time.
I don't think that would be a problem. Anyway.
All right, next question.
PC Radio Gamer. That was that one we just did. By the way, my response to that is usually just lots of water. So usually a tea or coffee to start with, and then to a bottle of water or two, depending on the length. A Devil Engen.
Devil Gene,
sorry.
All the threes in your name. That's what threw him. That's what threw him.
All the threes just got me.
Yeah.
And I was thinking engine, and I'm thinking, no, that's not it. Do you think the Aurora rework will bring a lot of external changes to the ship?
I thought about this a lot, right? You thought of this, and we did that episode. And I keep going back to the MTC, how the components come out on the MTC. You remember the rack thing that comes out? And that's kind of where my brain keeps going now. That's how I would probably access that. Some kind of thing that brings it out from the body and allows you to access them. So if you had some, like, obviously you can't kind of put it in there because of the bed, but you know that neck area? Something like that that comes out of the neck area and does form some form of rack. That's where my brain goes.
Yeah, maybe in that in between the two docking collar doors that the floor opens up and.
Yeah. And again, that docking collar, I don't think that will be a docking collar anymore. I don't see a need for it on an Aurora, to be personally honest with you.
Yep.
The way they've kind of described how docking's got to work now is essentially the bounding boxes. So you would need to have some form of tunnel from off that starting ship to get to the.
Yeah.
And I don't. What possible advantage does a starter ship have to have a docking collar?
Yeah.
It's EVA, like, come on, seriously, it's just it's not worth the air to recycle the whole thing. Like, it's kind of crazy. So there's just no real need for it anymore.
Yeah, I could see if they just had, the docking collar was already extended, so you'd move up and the other ship
would look like a pair of flying headphones if they did that out.
Yes, it would. But yeah, the Aurora. The original idea of the Aurora being able to be docked to a Connie or other ships was great, but I think the game's changed. I think it's the gameplay or the development of the game has gone beyond the idea of starter ships being able to dock. Especially when you can land an Aurora inside a carrack and do that comfortably. And I say that with confidence, knowing that I can land an Aurora inside a carrack comfortably. And I'm not the best pilot in the world. So if I can do it and do it smoothly, There's no reason why anyone else can't do it. So yeah.
Yeah, and again, like EVA is not that big of a deal, to be honest. I can still understand it being a dock and collar and a connie. That's a more size ship that I can see needing it, but it's not like you're transferring. What are you going to transfer with a dock and collar? It's usually cargo or someone that's in trouble.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and there's just no need for that on a starter ship. Like if that person needs a dock and collar, they're pretty much screwed. They wouldn't have even been able to call for help. You know?
Yeah, and it's not as if you need it for the transfer of cargo because now if the bed on the Aurora was a med bed of some form, then yes, I could see it needing a docking collar because you'd actually dock to the medical ship. You know, if it was some form of link to medical gameplay, and you were acting as a kind of a, you know, the old little helicopters with the passenger beds on the side. It was acting like one of those, transferring a patient to the hospital. That's a stretch. That's a
big stretch, but
that's me clutching at straws. But that's about the only thing I could think of as to why you'd want a docking collar.
Yeah, I think it'll probably drop back to just being a stylistic look of the Aurora, that it's just these circles, or they'll say it was originally a docking collar and now we've removed it because it's just not really warranted. And
I think that's the more likely aspect. But yeah,
we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting, at least. I'm kind of like, I kind of sit here and think it could go a couple of different ways, but I tend to think simpler is the way they're going to go than more complex.
Yeah.
All right. MU235 says, how do you guys feel about the Reclaimer docking coming in? I'm fairly stoked. Yeah, well, it's going to make it a lot more usable than it is now. You pretty much have to live out of Grimhex because of it's just too time-consuming going down to all the planets. So it's been needed for a while. But again, it kind of shows me that they're coming back to work on a lot more salvage stuff, which probably is because they need more things to feed into base building. So it's logical to go back to the ones that are almost already done and top them off because you get more things sooner.
Yeah, and it's nice to see the Reclaimer getting that bit of love just to polish it up. You know, it's just polish. Really, that for a Reclaimer is polish. It's not changing the ship. It's just.
Oh, look who's in chat! It's Buster the Destroyer. I haven't seen Buster here, and I don't think I've ever seen her here. But yeah, good to see you, Buster. You're doing well.
And I love the way you endeavour to join us. It's clearly either they're a member of the cult or
Did you have your robe and did you honorary robe and hat? We in the mail. Don't worry. Right.
Robes are required for the cult.
Yes. So, underneath wear is optional, but you do. Yeah. Right. PC Gamer Radio says, with Squadron 42 coming next year, which do you think will be priority for CIG to do in 2026 to bring Squadron 42 players to the PU, e.g. main story, new players? So what's going to entice people to go from Squadron to Star Citizen? I think that is the question.
I would hope it was just, at the bare minimum, I'd hope it was people would want to keep playing in that universe. They really enjoyed that, so... So I just got distracted by the YouTube chat because someone had mentioned my name, so and it glowed in orange.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I'd like to hope that it was just the fact that the experience people had in Squadron was so good, they wanted to keep playing.
They want to go into the multiplayer and immerse themselves in that world more. I think that is a logical. I was going to say belief, but I think that is logical.
Well, you know, if you think that, you know, it's in Odin, you're going. If the rumors I've heard are true, you've got to go through Nyx or into Stanton to do stuff, or you know. So if it's crossing over those borders, and you've been in those systems, and then they say, oh, there's a multiplayer game that is in those systems. Why wouldn't you want to?
Yeah.
And I can go everywhere else where I couldn't go, and there's more beyond that.
Yeah. Well, again, I can't see there not being some kind of trailer to say continue the journey in the multiplayer Star Citizen or something like
And
that. Yeah.
And don't forget, there's also the stuff where they used to say, if you complete the story of Squadron 42, you get X in the PU. So there was always that type of link as well. I think that used to be the F8. You complete the story and you get an F8 or something like that.
It felt like the F8, but now I think there's rumors flying around that it's something smaller, but wait and see.
Yeah.
I always assumed it was the F8, but yeah. I think it's just I can't think of any other reason. Like it's just like I like this world so much. Oh wait, and there's a multiplayer game, and they go. You can almost see there's little hints. Like they have the Starfarer and the Reclaimer in the single player. So they go, do you want to play these and do industrial stuff, not just combat? And so I have to assume that they're going to have some other little tie-ins all the way through the story, like Shubin. Doing the mining facilities and stuff like that. So showing off maybe some of the other gameplay. Just lightly.
You need it. I can imagine in Shubin, there's a point where you need to mine something to get repairs for the, because the management isn't allowing you to, they say, oh no, we don't have a stock at the moment. So you've actually got to go mine the resources you want to carry out repairs on your ship. And that gives you that gameplay, and then you can go, oh, in the PU, I can actually do that as a profession. So I can see lots of little hooks they could do, but do I know what they're going to do? Absolutely not at all.
Right. What was the next one? Daryl Drama says, how many years left is there before you start losing faith? I think he means to say faith in this company to make this game. I think, again, I'd almost put that back to all of you guys. Like, if Squadron 42 doesn't come next year, I think there's going to start to be riots. Let's be honest. It is starting to grow very long in the tooth. I think the community is, how do you word that? We are still very keen. But it has just grown a little long in the tooth, is how I'd probably put it. It's just gone on a little bit too longer than I expected. Like, again, I've said this to you before, Algared. Like, if I had sat down and told myself that I would be sitting here in 2025 back in 2012, I probably wouldn't have started this journey. That's an insane amount of time. And it's a question I'd even put to Chris. Like, Chris, if you ever end up watching this, let someone know or talk about it maybe, but do you really think you would have done this journey knowing it took this long? Because your original plan was, 2016, 2017. I put that to you too, Algared. Would you think twice if you had to go back and knowing what you know and take that back? Would you do it all again? If
it was only Squadron, no. But the fact that it's Squadron and the PU, I've quite enjoyed the PU, and even when we only had Arena Commander, I can remember saying, and I'm sure you'll remember me saying to you guys, when we're talking gameplay, I'd say, look, Arena Commander at its present point is just as good as some of the games we're paying $60 for on Steam, because it was just little combats, and so that was as good, and you could see the development, and over the years we've seen that development push forward in the PU. Yes, it's been slow, but let
me give you a follow-up question then. Where do you hope that Squadron will land? And when I say land, like where do you hope, like in 10 years' time, when we look after Squadron's come out, where do you look back at Squadron and hope it sits in the landscape of gaming?
I hope it's
and then I'll probably add a realistic, realistically, where do you think it's going to sit in gaming? It's
I'd
a tough
like
question.
to think look, given the tech and the development, I'd like to think it's seen as the benchmark game of what you do for a single player game. How you release a game, So I'm hoping that it's not a buggy mess like every other game that gets released that you pay X amount of dollars for. Because I know that's the thing Chris doesn't want. Chris does not want to release a game that is as buggy as other games that have come out recently in the last couple of years. So
Cyberpunk, as an example,
Yeah. So
I hope we look back at it and it probably falls somewhere between Titanfall 2 and Half-Life 2, which is two games it's trying to aim for. I think with how they have to release this game, it has to do better than Titanfall did. But Half-Life 2 is a very high bar. Very, very high bar. And I know Chris has come out and said that he thinks that it could beat GTA. I don't think it's got GTA's got a massive established kind of brand. It could come out. It could come out and be close to it, but GTA, there's just nothing that comes close to GTA. It's just it appeals to so many people, right? And as soon as and when you put a game in today's timeline, it always goes better than a past game, like a historic game or a futuristic game. Well, we've got a futuristic game, so it's never going to do as well as GTA, right? Just on the basis of everything I've ever seen in my life, right? So you kind of then start to look at Half-Life and Titanfall. They are both sci-fi based, right? So I expect it to be somewhere in that ballpark, but because of the way Titanfall was released, I expect it to do better than that. That's what I hope, that people look back on this game and it's listed there. Like, two of the best single player campaigns I've ever played is Titanfall and Half-Life 2. They are just amazing, right? And even today, like, considering Half-Life is now is literally it's its 20th anniversary this year for Half-Life 2. That's crazy, right? And it still stands up, right? That there is like they've done a remaster with RTX that came out this year. When you add it all up, like it just shows you how hard it is to make a really good game. You've got to have really passionate people, and you know as well as I do, they have those people at CIG.
Yeah.
So my hope is that thing comes out and it literally is just like, even if it was like just knowing that that's what they're aiming for. Even if it's not as good as Half-Life 2, but it's like just under that, I expect it to do very well because that's what they're aiming for.
I expect, when you're talking Squadron, it's a bit harder because it's a single player game. But I expect, Squadron / Star Citizen 10 years on. Well, I'm hopeful that they're as successful as I'm going to say Evercrack. Evercrack released another patch, another game, another I suppose downloadable content for their game. That is probably one of the oldest MMOs that I can think of, the one that broke the internet, and it's still going. And that was a 1980s vintage game. So
I think one of the really big things that are in Star Citizen's favor that you just can't get away from is the whole thing is in first person. It's just so different to other games in how it goes about doing things, and it really, like, I know that we talk about that immersion thing and it's a bit of a joke, but because it is that way, it is just so much more engrossing, right?
Why would anyone want to be inside their spaceship?
Yeah,
to pick up a line from.
But again, like when one of the things for me is not just watching new people, is watching how other people like. And I remember taking someone into the research and science wing yesterday for the first time, and we took them down to the Yamundi fight because they hadn't done any of it. Right, they were an FPS light type person. They were a bit worried about they were going to get shot and stuff, and we just guided them through and took them with us. And like every location, like, what the hell, this place is huge. And there was another guy that was just watching on the stream while we were like streaming on Discord, and he was the same. He's like, this is nuts, I haven't seen any of this, is amazing. And then the worm comes on and they're losing their goddamn minds because it's a visual feast. And like, if that's where we're at now, see what I mean? Like, it's just
And I've got friends who like computer gaming, and one of the things that we'd always talk about was the eye candy.
Yeah.
And we have a plethora of eye candy in Star Citizen and Squadron.
You just got to get the gameplay to match now, and that's again because we haven't got that foundation in quite yet. We still need that dynamic server meshing, and I think that's the real thing that's the last piece. And I know Benoit really wants to get that in, and I think there's a lot of things sitting in the wings ready to go. The other thing you got to take into account is just this year alone, we haven't taken a new engine build since January. right? That's kind of what's holding up the engineering stuff. They've got to get
Yeah.
that new engine built in, and whenever that comes in, there's going to be a massive plethora of updates
Yeah.
that come in with that as well. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I DC Gamer, I think, picks up a lot of the ideas I've got.
Mm.
The game with so many Hollywood actors, the
Yep.
game with most innovative gameplay ever.
Yep.
Those types of things.
Yep.
And I think
the actors thing alone is nuts. The two most popular Call of Duty campaigns, both one had the guy that played Jon Snow and one had Kevin Spacey. The two most popular, that's just two singular actors. We've got 35 in this bloody thing, so it's going to go crazy.
And just actors just, I recognize him. Oh, I recognize him.
Yeah.
It was Asmongold or whatever his name is.
Asmongold, yeah. What about him?
Asmongold. Watching him when he was watching the big gameplay stream.
Yeah. Well, watching a normal person kind of react to things is kind of cool. It like when you've been following it for so long that like we have too. It's very cool to see how other people react to stuff like it becomes a thing.
It's Mark Hamill. It's Gary Oldman. We're kind of blasé about it. But other people who see it for the first time, is that Gary Oldman? Is that Mark Hamill? Is that John Rhys Davies? And they're just that recognition of who's in it, and they go, oh my gosh, this is
When I say normal, I mean we're the weird ones. So we're kind of like citizens, they're more like civilians. So people that haven't seen Star Citizen before is what I'm applying there when I say normal. So yeah,
and I did think his reaction to that video was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, he was literally talking about buying spaceships afterwards. So
yeah.
CIG, reach out to Asmund. I reckon you'd get a whole bunch of content.
I thought this was a scam, but no, it's not. You hear that a lot, don't you? Like when people really have a look at the game and what we've got, they realise, this is not a scam.
Well, every time there's been like a news or media article that says the sky's falling, so to speak, about Star Citizen, the numbers go up. Because people aren't idiots; they come and look for themselves, and what they find is contradictory to what they were told.
Yeah, and it just reminds me of our incident in Star and the Office. One of the guys said, they work at CIG because of us, and the reason was they'd been told it was a scam. They were thinking, it's a scam, but they'd seen our stuff, and we were more positive. We would pick up the negatives, but would always be positive as well.
Yeah, we're critical, but we would call it like we saw it. And he was an Aussie.
So they've been, I'm going to go and check it out for myself. And then they went, and they went, those guys are right. These guys are wrong. And then they ended up working for CIG. So,
I think that's just it as a whole, isn't it? There's a lot of negativity out there. I think, look at journalism as a whole from gaming. That they're saying there's less than 50. I think this was a couple of months ago now. They were saying there's less than 50 gaming journalists worldwide, right? That officially write magazines or websites. They've killed themselves because their bosses have basically probably said to them, "Well, negativity makes more money," but they've done it for so long now, and
but
so
people just ignore them.
That's it. And so they've killed themselves. So they didn't think long term; they thought short term. And rather than building an audience on authenticity and stuff like that, we even see it with our own community. And I think eventually that's going to come back to roost. Be honest and genuine. And so we've always just been ourselves, Algared, and I think we just continue to do so. I've never wanted this to change us, have I? I've always kind of said I want to. When this stops being fun, you and I'll stop doing it, is what we've kind of said, haven't we? So
and I think that's a fair point. We've tried to be critical where we think it's wrong and praise them where it's right. And I think we, even when we talk to John and Ben, I think we're a bit like that. We'd say.
But the looks I got when I said certain things, I was like, oh shit, John's never going to talk to me again. But yeah, like he gave me the evil eye once or twice because you could tell that he probably wasn't used to people talking to him like that. But I caught him out on the Ironclad. I said, that's not a Corvette. It's right bloody size.
I think also part of it was that look as if to say, what do you mean? That type of.
Well, yeah, there was a few times where we realised there were certain things that where someone else in the company had said something and they didn't know because they hadn't. We just assumed they knew, but they didn't. So it was interesting. So they just, we're fans, so we're probably deeper in it than they are. Was a takeaway for me.
And that's hard because there's so many of the staff who we met who are fans. Like people know disco, but there's also a level design, designer, QA tester.
Yep.
There's so many people we know are fans. I remember the one. Oh, you guys say talking to Dev. Oh, you guys saved me so much money before I started working.
Oh yeah. Well, even Ben said that, didn't he? Like he tried to follow on with one of our videos on the CCUs, and he just goes. That was what
it just blows his mind.
Yeah, he can't follow it. Yeah, it's too complicated. But again, that's the system you've made. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next question, buddy. When you're ready.
Rocket Man. I know that's did that one. I think.
Yes.
Yes. The real drama. I asked this question as a backer, not a hater. I think that was a question. That was how many years are left before we start losing faith. In the company. Yep, we get it.
We ask ourselves that from time to time. Don't you worry.
Yeah, look, it was a fair question to ask. How long do you support something before you give up on it? And
it was only faith in the beginning, wasn't it, Algared? That's all you had back then.
Yeah, look, I remember even when I joined in 2014. Even then, there was no guarantee that it was going to be successful. And there was faith. And for me, it was, I knew the types of games Chris Roberts made. I knew in the past I'd enjoyed those games. So I knew that he pushed the envelope as far as could be pushed with the technology.
And I think I'll add to that is it's something that we wanted.
Yeah.
You got to support it if you wanted it. It's that simple.
Yeah. And so supporting it wasn't an issue. And I think Chris and everyone else expected, it won't take that long.
Watch your mic there, Algared. You're peaking a lot.
Okay, I will try to watch that.
It's your enthusiasm, my friend.
Yeah, my enthusiasm shows when I peak, yeah.
All right, RX Goblin says, what platform will the CitizenCon Direct be streaming on? YouTube and Twitch. They're doing both. They did find, I don't know, they haven't announced it, so I don't think it's happening, but they did find a thing for Twitch drops. So I don't know if that's going to be later in the year. But that
was in leaks.
Yeah, it was in leaks. So there was a thing for Twitch drops. So maybe that's down the road. Deadfrag says, do you think that we'll get a racing variant of the Hull C when it expands, just more engines revealed? Been really wanting a new ship. Wow. They literally said they wanted to do racing with all ships, but I don't think you'd get a special Hull C variant. No, I think you'd just do racing with the Hull C.
Yeah.
And
look,
isn't there something about Cargo Olympics, Algared, or something to that nature?
Yeah, there's a Cargo Olympics. So the Cargo Olympics in law was literally some of the systems would do loading and unloading cargo and see which was the best team and ordering the cargo and which group can unload the cargo best, which group can deliver cargo fastest, which group can stack the cargo neat, whatever the things in the Cargo Olympics. It's never really been fleshed out in game, but in law there's the Cargo Olympics. But
I could definitely see an event based around it where, if you win that, you get like a special skin or something like that. So yeah, eventually.
I think Anzio Gaming there has been development of some form of Cargo Olympic type.
Would definitely be able to do it right now, wouldn't you? With what's in game, yeah, you could do it for sure.
So that might be a fan-based one that's kind of on cards, but yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah. So, but there is a racing Hull C variant. It's a pirate ship that goes to racing events and broadcasts anti-UEE propaganda on the screens and then disappears. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So there's grounds for it. Not as far-fetched as it first appears. Yeah.
Chris 07. Do you think they will ever have a time-dilated transient jump point portal where you could travel to an instance Squadron 42 battle from the PU, or having time travel jump portals in general?
I think it will almost be eventually a certainty.
Yeah.
To have one where you can go, like, it would just be that whole system is out of time whack, like it's set 200 years in the past or something. Yeah, but I don't think you'll be able to kind of go through one jump point and then travel back in time. I think it'll just be that whole system is just their clocks are set 200 years back or forward or something like that. I don't think it will be allow you to travel backwards in time. No, that's not possible.
I think, and for the instant start Squadron 42 battle, the idea of that is it's in the, the practice modules. That's like an arena commander type scenario.
Well, you've even suggested things yourself too about if they made a Tavaran expansion pack, it could be like a prequel with the Tavaran War and stuff. So I think that would work as well.
And a Tavaran, my basic idea of a Tavaran character would be trying to find out about what it means to be Tavaran. What does Rajora mean? Because the main Rajoran stuff we've got is the stuff that the UEE saved as kind of victory trophies. The Tavaran basically tried to purge. They did the purge. They got rid of everything because it doesn't work. It's fake. So for Tavaran, and you see that in the stories they've done, Tavaran trying to work out what it means to be Tavaran. So that I could see being I could see that being a nice story loop for someone playing Tavaran, or even even for a human player trying to find out about the Tavaran history and so yeah, lots of options there. So.
All right. Devil Gene says, do you think we'll see something about Death of a Spaceman log out anywhere without beds? Again, in 2 hours, I assume he's talking about System. In 2 hours, no, I don't think it will. I think to add to that, Algared, I think with kind of what happened last year, how Jared was essentially doing ISCs for the next 6 months and talking about the same content, I think they'll kind of take the content they would have put into a normal Citizen Con and feed it out to Jared over the next 6 months. I think that's kind of where my brain goes.
Yep, I could 100% see that. I think there'll be instances where ISC or Jared shows are doing covering the information or releasing more detail, but I think they'll also be doing more of that content that they would have shown over the year as well.
Yep.
ZJ says, with the progression of a Pioneer supposedly coming for base building, do you think we'd see any variants to the Pioneer, salvaging, racing, for example? ZJ says, racing on the brain.
Racing Pioneer.
A racing Pioneer.
Again, I don't think you'll see special variants for any ship when it comes to racing unless it's super tailored at racing, right? I remember there was someone that used to troll us all the time because I brought up the idea, like I was trying to alliterate, they talked about every size of ships having racing ships, and this guy would come along and say, oh, so when we're getting a racing Idris or a racing privateer, and it feels a little bit like that with what this guy's doing, but I don't think that's what he's trying to. Well, maybe he is, maybe he's not, I don't know. But realistically, if we go back to the Pioneer, I think the Pioneer is doing a lot already. Fabrication, base building, crafting, drones. I just don't see, and again, look at the other larger capital ships. How would you roll kits into essentially into a Pioneer? That's the question I'm hearing. How do you do the M, K, and T kit type style thing, or a privateer kit for a Pioneer? Now, the only way
base building, factory,
that's kind of where I go. Like, it's either all base building or it's all fabrication. It's not both. That's the only place my brain goes.
The only other thing I could think of for it would be all refinery, massive refinery plant.
I'll give you that. It adds a refinery.
That's it.
But by the same thing, you'd agree with me, you could just build the refinery?
Yep. So
yeah,
the second you've got the base builder, you can build the things you want. So it's kind of
again, you got to start at the bottom and work your way up every time you move that thing. That thing is designed to roll out a city. That's essentially what it's designed to do. It's it's start at the bottom, work your way up. And again, why would you want a refinery when you could just bring along a refinery ship to do that separate thing? Again, Orion's got a refinery on it, Arastra's got a refinery on it, a Starfarer's got a refinery on it. They don't all, you might not need the refinery straight away. What you need is the resources to get the city rolling. And when I kind of sit there and look at it, I just can't kind of see, like, due to the size of it, I just can't see there. I don't know. It's just something I just don't see a kit or a variant working on too well myself. But maybe there is. I just don't see it that well, unless you kind of take what you've already got and roll into it. And again, I'd rather have the versatility of both, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Sorry.
Don't start that, Algared. You'll get me started.
I'll try.
Yeah,
it's a hard one to call because we don't have a Pioneer yet. With the Idris, it was, we had the cannon, the big nose cap, but
Thank you for the raid, Metamorph,
railgun
on Twitch. Thank you, Metamorph. Hope you had a good stream. Thank you very much. Right, sorry, Algared, continue.
Yeah. So the railgun on the Idris, everyone thought, a laser weapon would be cool. We got the laser weapon or a beam weapon. Torpedoes was an interesting one. I don't think anyone really saw the torpedoes coming, but it makes sense.
Yep.
A straight up laser, big laser cannon, would be nice rather than just that short range beam. But they're the types of things you do. But you had the shipping game or had been well documented way before they started bringing in those kits. The Pioneer, we only know it's a builder, manufacturing, fabricator.
Well, it's like saying the Orion. What modular version of the Orion would you like to have? And it's a little different because if you look at the Kraken, it's combat support. If you look at the Idris, it's kind of combat support as well. They are a bit more in that vein, where when you go into, say, something like the Orion or the Reclaimer or the Pioneer, they are more niche focused.
They're industry, and that makes it hard. Space Tomato Gaming, lovely to see you with your raiding party.
Hey, Space, hope you're doing well.
Thanks for joining us.
Drop in and say hello if you want. You've got access to the channel. Drop in and say hello if you want to say hello.
Yeah, we'd love to see you.
This is weird raiding at this time, having all these people raiders. It's kind of strange.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah.
And first time chat from a raider, Lunch Lord.
Yeah.
Toes to my gang raid. Yep.
Oh, very many of them in there. Good to see you, Space.
Yep.
Hope you're doing well. I had a chat with Keenan during the week, so he's doing well. So, yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Right.
Love to be able to catch up with you at some point.
Yeah. Oh well, we're probably we'll probably see him in AIE. That'll be definitely when we see him next.
And for the annual ship review. Yeah.
Well, we're going to split that in two next year because it's got too big.
It's just getting too big. It's too big.
So we're gonna do one in like January, February, and then we'll do one in like July, August, and I'll split it. I'll figure out a way to split it. I'll have to probably talk to you about that. Some way to split into two and half one time and half the other. Just because it's too hard to get you guys together for 2 hours now, and it's getting close to 2.5.
And the fact that there's so many ships, it really does. If you try and do everything, you really need to do it over a longer period than 2 hours, and that's the difficulty, isn't it? Getting all the time zones together for a longer period is just insane.
Yep.
So awesome to see you guys. Welcome.
Yeah.
That one's done.
PC Gamer Radio, is that what we're up to?
That's what we're up to.
Yep. If they do a live playthrough, what your guesses on what they'd show off? Nyx, and maybe a little bit. Maybe if we're really lucky, a bit of a bit of Castro. Because again, like we said, they like to show kind of like the finalization of something they've showed before, and they like to show a preview of what's to come. So that's it goes in tandem with everything we've ever seen. Yeah.
And if you're talking about a live playthrough of Squadron, I don't think we will see anything. Like, you remember when we were talking with Sandy, she was saying I was saying one of the things that the live playthrough in that introduction did is it gave you a vision of a scope, but it did not change anything that we knew. We already knew the Siege of Vega. We already knew you started on, so it didn't spoil anything in the game to give us that intro trailer. So, I can't see them giving any live gameplay of Squadron.
Well, they Jared said there's no Squadron in it. I just think there's not enough time to do both, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, not with only 2 hours.
I think next year when they start to kick off the hype train for the release of Squadron, it's going to be Squadron all channels anyway. Like next year, it's just going to be all Squadron.
Yeah.
So it'll.
And that was that comment about Squadron was something Sandy told us as the kind of the marketing guru for Squadron. So
yeah. All right, Hiralex. With the speculation that the RSI Hermes will be a cargo data runner, aren't the walls on the interior modules fixed as part of the RSI Apollo where the modules attach? Yes. But you can obviously change art as well. And again, if they were going to build a modular ship, that's the first real ship that's come out that's new, that's built around this modular system. Would you not go to town? Would you not try to utilize and show everything off in one ship that ship is capable of the new system? And that was the whole point I was trying to get at. I think they've gone way more modular than we expected them to go, because when you finally get that tool, you'd want to push it as far as you could, show what it was capable of. Again, would be completely wrong, but again, time will tell if we were correct on that.
I think every ship they build, we don't see it, but every ship that's built is a modular ship in the way they build them. Yeah. Now, the Apollo's medical bays, that's the modular part that we get to interact with.
Yeah.
But every part of that ship is modular. Yeah. It's got modular bits and pieces all over the place. Yeah. But they are generally dev tools.
Yep.
And the question is whether they develop module parts that we plug in, or whether they're module parts that are just bespoke or stuck to the ship, if that makes sense. PC Radio.
Yeah, go for it.
PC Gamer Radio says, in 2026, would you prefer no new ships but actual focusing on completing the backlog?
It's not possible because of the way prioritization is done. So one of the things that we learned with Ben and John was they don't really get to dictate which ship they make. They essentially are told, this is the gameplay that's coming. Make a ship. X. Yeah. So like the build, for example, they were told that they needed a ship for base building. So they made the build, things like that. So the backlog's not determined by them. It's essentially to blame the design team.
And you've been in the backlog, you've got ships like the Orion and the Endeavour and the Crucible. And their ships were either the gameplay is not there or the ship isn't required.
Yeah.
Because the gameplay is either not as developed or just because
you'd have
not a priority. So
you'd have the Reclaimer problem all over again, wouldn't you, with the Endeavour? They'd just sit there and not do anything for however long.
A million years.
Yeah. And then they'd have to rework it like they were doing with the current Reclaimer. So you're doubling up the work. So you're essentially extending how long the whole game's going to take. So it's not worth doing. Just wait.
The Crucible, it does not really the repair facility, that repair aspect isn't there. So you probably, it can do salvage, but it can't really do the repair aspect of its.
And they've knocked off a lot of the ones that they could do on the backlog, like the Perseus and the Polaris and stuff like that. And I know I was on a stream with Grim. We went through the entire backlog, and it was kind of.
We've done that.
Yep, that was the case on most of them, though. Well, we only did it recently. We did it in like the last month. you know, when we went kind of over it, there wasn't really many there. Like, and I felt like a broken record because almost every single time we were talking, it was well, this is just a priority thing. This is just a priority thing.
Well, and even when we looked at it, you know, we looked at the backlog. We went, I remember we did by dates. The year the ships came out and what ships were left. And it was sort of all. Yeah, it was sort of all apart from things ships like the Endeavour or the...
Down to less than 20. I think it was, and it tends to go up and then down again because they're releasing them that year. So it's around about 20. And again, a lot of them are really big ones. Like, well, some of them are really obvious that'll just already knock themselves off. Is the Javelin. That's just waiting for Squadron. So the Javelin's done. It's just sitting there. Bang, that'll fall off, you know. The Orion, the Arastra, they're waiting for RSI Industrial to come around and that bigger mining gameplay. Again, not really required. You've got the basics of mining. They don't really add a hell of a lot. They, you know, it's a lot of extra work to just essentially make bigger rocks for the Arastra, and then also you got to make massive asteroids for the Orion to crack. Not a lot of benefit. Plus, when they, you know, if they go do something like the underground mining, like they've got to do for the Pioneer, you get a lot more for that. You get a lot, you know, you get a whole nother series of ships, not just 2. You get a whole nother series. So a little bit of work, a lot more payoff, you know.
Yeah, and so that's the type of thing that comes in. So you end up building new ships that fit into the new gameplay. You've still got those larger ships, or some of those ships without the gameplay. The Herald, classic example. You know, the gameplay for that, you know, data running isn't really there at the moment. But we've seen updates to the Endeavour recently. We've seen updates to the MSR recently, which kind of hints of it to me that they're working on data running, or we'll see more for that. If the Hermes is a data run about even more strongly, I'll suggest that. But yeah, it's 9 times out of 10, the reason the ships aren't there is gameplay and priority.
And again, just because the Hermes is in the files doesn't mean it's coming soon. No. It also could be much later. To be honest, the Hermes, when it first showed up, was about 6 months ago. It was the Aegis Hermes.
Yeah.
Right. So it's gone from Aegis Hermes to RSI Hermes. That doesn't mean it's coming by the end of the year. It could literally be like another 12 months.
You know? It could have been it was put into the files because they were testing the flight of the white boxes.
Yeah, but that said, it is listed on the roadmap. There is an unannounced ship that was of a popular recent release variant. So I think the Hermes is coming sooner than later. But
yeah, and given the leaks where it seemed to line up with the Apollo, it just seems to strongly reiterate back.
Sooner rather than later is what it's showing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next one, mate. When you're ready.
Gas in the lime, gas in the line moth.
Gasoline moth.
Gasoline moth. Thank you.
We don't use the word gasoline. That's an American thing. He's clearly American, right? Gasoline.
Yeah, bloody Yanks.
Yeah.
Have you seen that Reclaimer can now dock at docking stations on the PTU?
No,
it still can't unload.
I didn't know that, but I'm gonna have to go. I didn't know. I know they were doing it, but I didn't know it was in. Okay, I'll have to go.
Yeah, still can't unload. Does this potentially open the door with docking capabilities as they move forward?
So that shows a real problem with the Reclaimer. You're only going to be able to load down on planet. You're gonna have to. Well, how do you? How do you unlock? You can't.
You can't use the docking modules at the docking.
So you'd have to theoretically move the dock to be in line with the cargo lift to out.
Yeah.
Well, unless you go down the elevator and you load it off to an external cargo lift.
Yeah. So you could do it that way, but the docking collars were never for unloading. The docking collars are for spawning and accessing the ships.
Yeah. So I have to assume that when they put in docking collars, they'll probably put some cargo lifts, because we've seen cargo lifts from the leaks as well, the wall ones. I'll have to assume that they probably put some of those near the docking collars so you can unload said ships into things. Now that also makes me think: are they going to put? You probably don't need it on the Reclaimer because again, it's mostly hand traverse cargo. But could you see a tractor beam on the bottom of the Reclaimer that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Given the way that from the back of the back of the Reclaimer's cargo bay, where there's got that little chute where you can drop cargo down onto a lift and that cargo lift kind of at the back. that to me would be lining up with cargo. So that needs work. So it'd be, but yeah, I could see that being on the cards for.
Again, I just keep coming back to the Reclaimer as a ship that has more and more problems because it was a ship of its time, and they are like, how do I put this? I don't want to crap on the Reclaimer because I actually like the Reclaimer a lot, right? But it's showing what that is epitome of why they do not want to make ships before the gameplay is not ready. Because if the gameplay is not ready, now all these, but they had to make the ships along the way, right? So I'd add ships like the Starfarer in there. The Retaliators kind of had a whole bunch of fixes, so it's not as bad as it was. But the Reclaimer is probably going to be the most notable one in the entire lineup for problems that looked amazing but just haven't panned out because how the game's changed.
Yeah, and when you look at those ships, they needed the Reclaimer for Squadron. They needed the Starfarer for Squadron. They needed, so those ships, I think when you look at the original ships that were done and the plan of those original industrial ships and otherwise, the reason they were on the cards was not because, we'll make lots of money from this. It's because they were Squadron 42 ships. They were envisaged as ships that would be filling out the background or be set pieces that you'd be interacting with in Squadron.
Escape 907 or Escapey 907 says, would you have gotten his name right if you had said Guzzolene, you bunch of criminals? And then he gave us like 100 bits. I don't know what that's worth, but thanks for the bits.
I'm not a criminal. I'm a free settler.
He's a smooth criminal. I, however, am a first fleeter.
You're a criminal.
I'm a first fleeter. I'm a first fleeter.
He's a criminal.
And you'll have to look that up if you want to know what it is. But yeah, I'm a first fleeter. We've got a lot of new raiders and stuff from Base Tomato asking stuff, but they're not asking questions. So yeah, if you want to ask a question, guys, just put question in your question and our bot picks it up and it chucks it into Discord because we stream on both and that combines it all. And then we can take a goddamn sweet time going through them.
Yeah, and we literally answer every question that comes into our chat in the order that it arrives. So
and then and then we can just take our sweet time.
And while I remember, we released a video this week.
Did we? Oh yeah,
about a certain medical ship.
Oh yeah. This is an Apollo giveaway. Thanks. Good job.
So we have a giveaway.
Oh, we do have a giveaway. Let me see if I can open that video. Yeah, you go ahead and pin it over.
We released our Apollo buyer's guide this week. Our buyer's guide comes with the opportunity to enter for a chance to win the Apollo triage, I believe it is.
No. CIG gave us the red triage. One, the Apollo triage, and we upgraded it to the Medivac.
To the Medivac.
Yeah, so
we're going to
just differentiate ourselves from everyone else. So yeah, we're going to give away our Medivac, and
we're going to.
If you're here when we give it away, we'll also chuck in a skin of your choice from the store.
Yep. So if you're watching us live when we do the draw and you're the winner, we'll give you a skin as well. So to enter that, all you need to do is go to the video, make sure you're subscribed publicly so we can actually see your subscriber. Otherwise, it makes it really difficult.
Yep.
Leave a comment, and then you're in the draw.
Yeah, like all these people here, they're all in the draw.
So that's all you got to do. Go to the episode, leave a like. Well, leave a like. I'd love you to leave a like. It makes us feel warm and fuzzy on the inside when you do that. Leave a like, leave a comment, be a subscriber, a publicly subscriber, so we can see you're a subscriber, and that's it.
All right.
Easiest way to get an Apollo Medivac.
Yes. Thanks to CIG for that one. All right. Next question when you're ready, mate.
Hirolix says, Nyx is supposed to have a gaseous nebula. Does that mean we're getting scanning gameplay?
Just hang on. I gotta message someone.
I would imagine that if it's needed, yes. I was thinking you were going to say, if we're getting a gaseous nebula, does that mean we're going to get gas refining or gas mining? But no, he wants scanning. So, yes and no. If they deem it's required, then yes. If it's deemed it's not a priority, then no.
Yep.
I would imagine with a gaseous nebula and the gas giants we've got in our system so far, but having a gas miner would probably be something that would be higher on the pecking order. But that's just my thoughts. What about you?
I'm gonna have to reread the question. Sorry, was it Stimpack Steve's?
No,
Or,
it's Herolix.
Nyx is supposed to have a gaseous nebula. Does this mean that we're getting a scanning gameplay? Well, scanning gameplay is on the roadmap.
Yeah.
So I think that's implied anyway. Gaseous nebula, I think more along the lines of Starfarer. Fucking shit
Yep.
up.
Yeah, that's my thoughts as well. My thoughts was gaseous nebula scanning. If it's required for Nyx, then yes. If it's not, it'll come when it comes.
Yeah.
But we know they're working on it. So, but yeah, my thought with a gaseous nebula was gas refining or gas harvesting. Asked Impact for these.
You see what that guy said about us on YouTube? He called us mouse. Said, "'Twas the night before Citizen Khan, and all through the house, the Inforunners scuttled quietly just like a mouse." Man, what an insult. He called us a pair of mouse. A pair of rats.
QQ. Hey, QQ.
Yeah. What an ass.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. Good job on the rhyme. Right.
Yep.
All right, next question, Algared, when you're ready.
Stimpack Steve says, are you streaming tomorrow, and if so, what time? Asking for a friend.
Same time as today. So
yeah, 4 a.m. our time.
Yeah, 4 a.m. our time. It is for you. So basically, 2 hours and 20 minutes ago, we would have started. And we're going to stream 2 hours before, but then we're going to watch the con, and then we're going to talk afterwards. And Grimm's joining us. Nonstop Bops is going to join us later after the con. So we're going to talk it through with a couple of people, and we'll probably anyone else that wants to come along, any of the other Inforunners or stuff like that. So Space or Paul, if they want to turn up, they will turn up. I'm not saying they will, but if they want to, they're always welcome. And I'm sure there's some other people that'll pop in and out as we go along.
Indeed. Yeah, I keep getting distracted by the chat, which is why I guess I don't do two things well at a time. I'm a mid-male. I can read or I can talk.
You can read? Since when? All right.
Watsburg says, what ship are you hoping to see released concepted at CivCon?
Well, again, in the leaks, you've got the Stinger and the Shiv. I think the Shiv is probably the most likely candidate. I think the what's going to happen is the Stinger's going to be like the Star Lancer, and it's going to be talked about, but it'll come at IAE, and I think they'll also release it along with the reworked other Vandal ships, kind of like what they did with the Hornets the previous year. We've seen that a lot, where they're essentially flipping Squadron 42 assets to raise funds. I just want to show this real quick. Someone mentioned this in chat, so I'm going to bring it up. So the message of the day has been updated. So it's I learnt this from Piss4 Pete, so I'm going to share it with you guys. So what happens is they write it in Norwegian or something, right? So see how there it says Thor's Day, and then it says Frajagajagajagana. So it's in another language. But when that goes to English, it means it's a release candidate. I didn't know this until he pointed it out to me. So see how it says Thor's Day? Oh, I have to zoom in. Maybe we can zoom in, right? So see how it says Thor's Day? If that actually said Thursday, that means it was a release candidate. If this said Friday, that meant it's a release candidate. So the fact that it doesn't say that, and it says whatever that says, that means it's not a release candidate. So more than likely, tomorrow, or whatever the Saturday version of that is, if it says Saturday, that means it's a release candidate. And I didn't know that. A little bit interesting thing that I learned about how they do their releases. So,
but then the fact that it is also open to everyone at the moment, that's kind of like a release anyway. So
yeah, but there's no actual patch notes there, but they're saying we're currently putting together a new 4.2 build for potential PTU push later today, which is, as I said, what I'd be expecting in about probably around about 4 hours time, or less than that now, 3 hours and 40 minutes. So yeah. All right. So there's definitely people at CIG. Hi, Mum. No, my mum doesn't work at CIG, but you get what I mean. Hi, people at CIG.
So what ship are you hoping for? You answered that, Shiv and that. I would hope, if I was being honest, I'd hope to see the build, because that would mean base building was here.
Yeah,
that's a dream. But more likely we'll see the Shiv. Anything else is a bonus.
Agreed.
So,
Next one when ready.
Fenia 5 stars says, do you think the new defeat of a Polaris mission will also see the release of a Perseus, seeing as it's a gunboat that punches above its weight class?
Again, they could always swap one over for the other. You know, it's a red herring. We've had leaks of the Mangler as well, but that seems to be more Nyx based. I think from what we're seeing in the files that Nyx is planned for next month or for the December patch. I think that is what they're heavily alluding to, or at least trying to implement. There is no real technical roadblock for why you couldn't release Nyx. It just comes down to server cost. And the way I look at it is, yes, you are paying extra for servers, but how much extra money are you making from ship sales because you've added another system?
Yeah, and how many more are you getting because there's so many more people playing and doing stuff? And I think if you look at
you put the Vandal in, you're going to get people turning up to want to see those alone.
Oh yeah, and you get the, you look at the concurrent people playing concurrently, and that has constantly been going up. You look at the new accounts, and that's constantly going up.
Last month, in September, a kind of dead month traditionally, 65,000 new accounts on RSI. Now, how many of those duplicates? Who knows? But 65k is a hell of a lot in 1 month. That's a lot of accounts.
And then you go and look at the concurrent play, and that's probably even a bigger indicator of just the people playing. And when you look at servers that are now 600.
Yep. And 700, and they're planning for 800.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that really does speak volumes, especially when I can remember people saying they'll never get more than 50 people on a server with this game. They'll never get more than 100 people on the server with this game.
Some of that shit has aged so badly.
Yeah. A certain individual in particular has aged so badly.
Yeah.
He who shall not be named.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. PC Gamer Radio. Do you think base building won't come before Genesis StarTech on the planets, or as it's needed to make the planets big enough to base building? No, I don't think they need to make the planet big enough. I can remember them talking about just the moons in the Stanton system.
One of the moons they talked about, if you took every player in the game and they were like, their avatars were holding hands hand to hand, they wouldn't even make it all the way around the moon. And this was back in like 5-6 years ago. So yeah, I know they're only like 1/4 or 1/6 the size or whatever, but they're still bloody huge. You just don't need them to be needlessly that big. And let's be honest, one of the things you and I used to show off back in the day was just the sense of scale of this game is insane.
Look, I've tried numerous times to start in a ship and start at one point and fly around the planet.
Yeah.
In atmosphere, and after 2.5 hours, I usually give up. So I can't do it. I can't do it anymore.
Well, again,
I'm nowhere near halfway through the planet. So
I don't think I've heard anyone say Horizon or Crusader, is small. It's just massive. And it's just crazy to me. I haven't. Even the moons feel large, So, I think they made the right call. The other thing that's important to share as well is the distances between planets has been shrunk as well, and that feels really large as well compared to other games. So it would have been kind of crazy to me to have it 100% accurate, because I think we would have got a bit bored waiting those distances. And you've got to remember, first and foremost, it is a game. It is not real life, and a lot of people do get caught up sometime on that realism factor. But again, if you look at some of the games that have been made over the years, Algared, I think you would agree, they tend to have gone down that realism route and they've followed it too strongly,
too far,
and they lose the fun aspect, and that's therefore they don't get to the popular they hope to reach.
Yeah, and when you look at what they're trying to do, they could have made the distance 1-to-1 in terms of scale, but then to get the travel distance right, you'd have to then increase the speed of ships. Now they go, in terms of quantum and all the rest of it. Now, Serge, you've decided, no, they want to keep the speed of ships as is. So to get the travel time down, to keep the game fun, you shrink everything down. And the amount of space on the planets. If it was just 1 or 2 landing zones per planet, yeah. But it's not that anymore, is it? You can go anywhere. And that means there's so much scope. So, yeah. It's just huge.
Yeah. All right. Next question. When you are ready, mate.
ZJ says, if you spend a time in AC, you notice that there are several different planets. Do you think Planet Tech version 5 will allow these planets, like lava, ocean, etc.?
Well, that's a really good question, because like I start to look at like how do you in your book, Algared, right? And I'm asking you this before I kind of answer. How would you go about knowing the tech they've got now? How would you implement a lava flow?
Oh, I'd use rivers. I'd use the stuff I got in rivers as a start.
Right.
And that would be my start point.
But then all of a sudden, I'll put this back to you. Then that's where it'd start. But then all of a sudden, you got to. There's no transparency in lava.
No. So then you've got that change, but lava doesn't naturally follow the way water does.
Yep. So you got a starting point, but it's got extra work.
Yep.
So you are correct. Yes, you're absolutely.
So you start at that point. Do we have the planets? Look, those planets we've got. I think it's green. I can't remember. That's where the Murray Cup is taking place. There's Broken Moon. That's where the moon was cracked by. I think it was the problem with the terraforming tools or something like that, or testing weapons. I can't remember. But yeah, they're planets from different systems. The Good Doctors down at I've forgotten the planet name, but way down south in the map.
Lear 3.
Lear 3 from the system Lear. So yeah, they're planets from systems. Would I expect to see those planets get updated with the planet tech? Yeah, sure. But I know that they may not get done now. But certainly when those systems get added to the game, those systems will have the tier 5 or tier 6 or tier 7 planetary tech, and that then I expect would go across into AC. It's a matter of priority. Do they see adding that tech to those locations in Arena Commander now a priority? And I'd say no. You do it when to bring the systems in.
Yeah. Right, John Citizen is in channel with us. How you doing, John?
How you doing, John?
I'm not doing too bad, both of you, and I'm glad to see Al is looking better than last time I watched you on stream.
What was wrong with him last time on stream? Were you watching some kind of weird, kinky thing that Algared does off on his own on time or something?
No, I think it was.
Sorry, I thought you meant just Inforunners, but I was watching his other kinky stuff as well.
Oh, right. Old man Hurston does Lawville, yeah. How you been, John, anyway? You keeping out of trouble?
I'm never in trouble.
Bullshit.
You know me better than
Bullshit. Yeah, I know you real well.
That's why you asked, are you keeping out of trouble?
Yeah. So, what are your? I kind of want to ask someone that's kind of. I don't take this as an insult, John, as more of a normie. What are you expecting from CitizenCon tomorrow?
What I would like to see is base building. And I know that's not going to come in yet. But that is.
I think you're going to see that.
I would really like to. Do you?
Yeah, I really do. It's on the roadmap to end around this time.
It was previewed last year.
Yeah, just a more polished version of what we saw last year.
Yeah, because as you know, I've been playing other games lately, and I've really enjoyed the base building aspect of the other games.
Yeah, so he's been playing June Awakening for those. What was it? You been playing anything else besides June?
Only playing Diane up, but that's normal.
Yeah. Right. So yeah.
I've also played Path of Exile 1. I haven't got 2 yet. I also played what was it you wanted to get me into with that jump ship?
Yeah, jump ship or jump space.
Yeah,
I think
I actually played. There was 4 of us playing that the other night, and it was Royce was one of them, but it was a bit hectic for Royce.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. Rice would struggle, but yeah. It's good to see you guys got in. I'll have to come and join you.
He thoroughly enjoyed himself, but because it was we both jumped straight in and we didn't know all the controls and everything when we started. And then, but I picked it up quicker than what Royce did, and but he's level 3 and the rest of us are only level 2.
Well, yeah, he's talented, isn't he?
So, yeah, that's why he liked it so much. He found the niche.
Yeah. Well, look, it's not a full game yet in my book. It gets a little bit grindy in places, but it's a really good starting point for an early release. And I think I was playing it, and I probably brought maybe 10 people onto the Inforunners Discord to play with, and it wasn't until around about the 10th or 11th person that I met, where the person that was playing Jump Space didn't play Star Citizen. He'd heard of it, but he hadn't played it. So there's a lot of crossover between Jump Space and Star Citizen. If you are looking for a little game that scratches the itch, I can highly recommend it. It's about 30 Australian dollars. I think it's like $20 American. Is that about roughly what it was for you? About 20 quid?
Actually, it was given to me. I didn't have to pay for it.
Oh, isn't it great to be a princess? Oh my God. Yeah.
Lucky bastard.
Yeah. We don't get given shit down here. We got to all ourselves. They've actually implemented a lot of things so you can't send gifts now. If you're in one, like for example, I went to buy a game for someone that was in the UK, buy it on Steam. They just block it. I'm just looking it up real quick to see. I'm gonna pause that download so that doesn't.
It's Jump Ship. Is it Jump Space now and not Jump Ship?
Well, there was a copyright issue with it, so they had to change the name.
Is that why it was changed?
Yeah, so it's 30 Australian dollars. Oh shit, 30 Australian dollars. So that would be about 20 USD or 20 quid. So I just made a massive mistake and quit Discord. So those two have just been cut off. Give me a second. I meant to quit Steam and I quit Discord. Hang on. Oh my God. All right. Sorry about that. I clicked the wrong button when I was trying to exit Steam.
Your mouse was going, but nothing was coming out, mate.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I should be back. My apologies for that one. No one's for anything. It's all good. Right.
And I'm going to just before it disappears off the screen. First time chat on Twitch. Strickland says hi.
Yeah.
Just so you know, we do pay attention. It took a while to see it or to get to it. But,
I thought we were going to mention Kozam, who said pro streamer. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get back to the questions because we've got a lot of questions to go there. And it was good to see you, John. I will definitely stop by and catch up with you. It's good to see you doing well. And I'll if you want, if you're around tomorrow, John, after CitizenCon, I'll get you to jump in and you can share thoughts with us if you would like to.
After CitizenCon, what time is that going to finish?
It starts at 6 a.m. So currently it's 6:37. So we'd be right in the middle of CitizenCon right now, and then it would finish at about 8 a.m. our time. So about an hour and 20 minutes from now. So that'll be in your time. What's the time for you now? Right now, John.
20 to 9.
So it'll be 10 p.m. it finishes for you, mate.
Yeah, well, I walk the dog about 9:30 when I take Diane home, so I'll be back between 10 and
12. Too much information. Walking the dog. Sorry, that's a different term here in Australia. But anyway, right.
Whatever term you use, I will be walking my dog called Bella. While I take Diane home.
I don't know mine, Bella, but okay. Right. But yeah, maybe when you get back then. But we'll probably be doing it for about 2 hours. So probably be about 10 to midnight your time. We'll probably be talking about the game until we wrap up. CitizenCon, sorry.
Well, yes, I shall be watching you two make fools of yourself listening to CitizenCon.
Well, you're welcome to come in and share your thoughts afterwards if you want. All right. We'll see you later, John.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping by. We'll get back to the questions.
That's all right. Bye for now. Bye everybody.
John.
Enjoy the rest of the stream.
Yeah,
And you out. Bye.
Take care.
Right.
PC Radio Gamer,
Yep.
or PC Gamer Radio says, when they do cattle transports from the Industry Guild, do you think the raft and the whole series not valid, or will be valid? Especially if there are goods that are delicate or explosive, handled with care.
It really depends how they want to go about it. Do they want to make large cargo boxes that can hold animals, or do they want to make dedicated ships for the animals? We've kind of we've got the biopods on the Endeavour. I have to assume that could also be the same biopods, but it's animals.
Yeah.
How far do they want to take it? You know, like it's up to them, and I can see it both ways. I could literally see it a box that says cows, and it does. You can't even see the cows, right? Or do you have it so it's like it's a transparent? You know how when you see the cow trucks go down the road, Algared, or the sheep trucks, and you can see the cows and trucks inside. Like how do they want to do it? You know?
Yeah, I would like to see it something like and it reminds me of
Did you just fall asleep?
Misbehave.
Right. Yeah.
No.
Oh, Serenity. Serenity and Firefly. Yeah.
Yeah. In one of the very first episodes of Firefly, they're broke, so they take a job to deliver to cattle.
Yeah.
And so they literally turn their cargo hold into a cattle pen.
Old man Hurston on his 890 jump with a bunch of cattle in the cargo bay. Yep. You can see it now.
Yeah.
So again, I kind of agree with that.
The restaurant has fresh food.
Can you take it? So he did that. Can you take a cargo bay and just essentially put like a fence around the outside of it? Yeah, that would work as well.
Yeah.
And then does that come with other things like you've got because one of the things you and I talked about is what about animals that don't breathe our atmosphere? Can you have we know there's climate controlled cargo in the 400i, so other climate controlled ships that also don't just go into climate controlled for food, but they go in it for plants, they go into it for animals. So I think there's a whole series of cargo there that we haven't even touched on yet.
Yeah, and we know they're animals that aren't oxygen breathers, but at the moment the only ones we've really got are those that are on the planets that we can breathe on, or variants of those that we can breathe on. So yeah. So what's Burke? Do you think we'll see more shops with furniture, tools, cutlery, etc., just like in real life?
Yeah, I think we'll see next year, if base building and fabrication comes in, I totally see more base builders. I totally see more fabrication ships coming in as well.
Yep.
Not just in ships, but also in the bases. There'll probably end up being shops that have it as well, where you can go in and it's almost like a 3D printer shop where you go in and you want something, you print it out and you pay for it. Yeah, or in the future.
And you can already buy some of the furniture in some of the shops, so I would expect to see that type of stuff. More widespread. I expect to see a shop that specialises in and doing that. Mega Tiger Ninja, a meat refinery ship would be an abattoir.
Yep.
Would it be on a ship or would it be on the planet? And
again, it's how far do they want to go? Do you literally have a ship that's just like a cattle transport, so to speak, or an animal transport, and it's just buildings that are the abattoirs? Because think about it, do you really want to process meat in space? Probably not. You probably only want to do one animal, for a shop or a restaurant, right? So you could just do that more manually.
Yeah.
When you're doing a lot of them, that would be on a building because you'd be delivering them to a city.
Yeah.
The
only ship I can think of we're wanting to have that live animal in your ship, to me is really an 890 jump. And I know transporting animals in a luxury ship, and it's the only purpose is for the idea of having, fresh food. It's hook and hoof.
All right, so
you come down and look at the, pick the
hang on,
one you want, and then we butcher it.
Algared, thank you for the raid, Spooner on Twitch. Massive raid just come in from Citizen Spooner on Twitch.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for that, Spooner. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you join us as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So yeah,
sorry, continue.
Hook and hoof is the type of thing I'd expect to see on an 890 jump or a luxury ship, not necessarily elsewhere. The guarantee of fresh food for your customers, top tier. So you're going for the top tier cuts. So you want them fresh. That's the only reason I could see it. Yeah.
Well, it definitely comes in with the different tier levels as well. So I think we're probably going to need to see. Probably think we'd see shops before farming, in my personal opinion. But again, that's all down the road. I think we could safely say that's all pre 1.0.
It's look. We say it every week. When there's an idea that comes through it and you're wondering, what's going to come? Ask yourself, is it a priority?
Yeah.
And the lower down on the priority list it is, the less likely is we're going to see it soon.
Yeah. So yeah, it just really hard sometimes to pick some of those, because when you've got the build system or the base building in, how far is it to go? For example, how far is it to go from base building to shops? Doesn't seem that far, but what is needed to go from a building to a shop? You see what I mean? And that and what do you get for that? Like, is that a priority for 1.0, or does it come just after 1.0? Or so again, there'd be a whole team of at design looking at that at CIG, and I'd struggle to pick at that one at the moment, because I think there has to be other things that are already in the game, like salvaging and mining, that they'd want to polish up for release. As an example.
Yeah, indeed. So that's always the issue, isn't it? How do you get the balance? And, And we're not a group that does. I know we do speculation, but we try to do it responsibly. It's not rampant speculation, I hope.
Yeah. I reckon there'll be some people that disagree with you on that statement, that we do it pretty rampantly, but no, I agree. We don't.
But the idea is we take the information we've got, and we look at it and go, okay, what would be the logical steps? But we also then go, okay, is it a priority? And so we try to keep things. I think we try to keep things balanced.
Yep.
So Heralex says, question, will CIG bring crafting ships to the verse, or just keep crafting to base building?
Sorry, say again.
Will CIG bring crafting to ships, so will ships be able to do crafting, or will it just be kept to base building?
Crafting and base building is both on the roadmap.
Yeah, but they're asking, will you be able to craft in your ships, or will it just be stuck to buildings? I think
it's both.
Yeah, I think you look at the Reclaimer and the Vulture, and they're basically the only ships that can do any form of crafting at the moment. They can create your guns, or your multi-tool and attachments. So that seems to me that's the first step in crafting, and they're both on ships. So yeah. DET has a question. Are your bingo cards ready for tomorrow? I'm assuming they're talking about the
Star Citizen bingo. No, I haven't done it. No, I haven't done any of that yet. No, they are not.
No. Captain David. Would the UEE like to have an outlaw system like Pyro with direct way to Terra, isomer annexation of Pyro, or a false flag attack with the upcoming events in Pyro? Or is that just me? Well, it is actually a UEE system, and it's not actually. Nyx isn't actually a pirate system; it's an aligned system, and that's because the residents, didn't want to be there. The reason it's not a UE system is the UE decided it didn't have any benefit. Now, I think that's short-sighted. On their part, but that's just me. I would have thought anywhere with 7 jump points and a link to Terra would have indicated that at least the Terrans want that annexed in their sphere of influence because they want their security, especially since it also links to Vandal space. But hey.
Algared, if you could do the next couple of questions, I've got to do some stuff in the background real quick.
Yep.
Tomorrow, I'm trying to get this fixed. If you would be so kind.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Admiral Kusungi says, with last year's blue-black hidden ships, are those due by CitizenCon or by the end of the year? There is still the land vehicle, the possible Drake ship with foldable wings, and the Pioneer. I believe last year it was these ships will be going into production by the end of the year, as opposed to...
That is correct, Algared. That is exactly what they said.
Yep. So previously it was these ships will come. Last year it was they were going to production. So
go into production in the next 12 months was what they said.
Yep. And that doesn't mean that we'll actually see them. It means the 18-month cycle will begin. So,
yep.
But would it be nice to see them by the end of the year? Absolutely. Would I be disappointed if they don't come? No, because we've had lots of new ships this year. So, yeah. Next question is from Benjamin Frick. Benjamin Frick says, Battlecruiser concept tomorrow as the last concept sale. No. I'll just say that.
No, definitely not.
Skubek, is it possible that CitizenCon Direct will be bigger in terms of content than last year's CitizenCon, as they don't need to manage place, staff, volunteers, etc.? No, because it's only 2 hours, so I can't see it having more information than the 6 or so panels they do in a regular live CitizenCon.
Yeah,
I think this CitizenCon will do the main stuff, and then over the next 6 or so months, as we said earlier, they'll dole out the other information we would have seen. Aidan says, could there be a few cargo ships sold tomorrow during CitizenCon Direct? As I'm thinking of buying one, but if there isn't, I'm buying the character use that as one. I don't know, just curious. I think what you're really asking is, what's the best cargo ship for me to buy if there's no cargo ships available?
I would just wait to AIE. You've only got to wait a month and they'll be there.
Yeah. And if you're looking for a straight-up cargo ship, the Carrack would probably be one of the last ones I use. But I know it's a cool ship, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not a very good cargo ship. I would be the best cargo ship at the moment. Raft is pretty good right now.
Raft is pretty good.
I still find the Banner Merchantman's probably my favorite overall when it's all said and done. But yeah, again, that's not out yet, is it? So.
The problem is it's not out. Idris is pretty good for lots of cargo if that's what you're into. Hull C, I know Idris is multi-crew and it's insane to do it by yourself, but you can do it.
Polaris is probably a bit better for
Polaris,
but again,
for scale, and also the ease of loading and unloading.
There's nothing really perfect for cargo right now because again, a lot of the cargo boxes are a lot smaller. I'd probably just maybe get a raft for right now, and then looking at turning having a CCU chain to something else like the Banner Merchantman or something like that. That's kind of where my brain is going. I don't know if you agree on that, Algared, but that's kind of where I'm at.
The rafts are great. The resource drive mission showed how awesome the raft was. At doing cargo, picking up cargo, it was just so easy to load that thing. It was insane. So yeah, and I could see it being also significantly easier to unload at a docking port.
Yeah.
Now when I was doing those missions, I tended to just go back down to the planet and unload in my hangar. So my experience of using the docking, the cargo elevators and stuff on the outside the stations is limited. But yeah.
Yep.
Duvels has a question. Duvel says, what are the chances we are getting turret blades tomorrow, slaving and or automation also? What is holding this tech back, in your opinion, beside the balancing nightmare it will cause? I don't think it's a priority.
Yeah.
So that is.
They probably will come after the Perseus stuff. They talked about the Perseus having new PDCs, but again, it's just what do you get for that? And it's it's great for us as players.
Yeah.
But it's just not a priority yet.
Yeah.
Like you can put people to work at a different spot and get more.
And so,
Yeah.
Now CIG might disagree with me and say yes, it's a priority, but I can't see it. And so because it's not a priority, I don't see it being there. Now
got the FBS turrets coming in. So it can't be too far from that. So I'd say it's sooner rather than later, though.
Yeah. Now, because we did have that big raid from
Citizen
Stream, it is probably appropriate to remind people that we are doing a giveaway.
Yep. Right.
Not on this stream, but to enter this giveaway, you need to go to our Apollo Buyer's Guide in our channel and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're visibly subscribed. Do me a favour and make me have that warm fuzzy by hitting that like button as well. And then all you got to do is leave a comment.
And you got to be public subscribed so we can give it away. But the other thing is CIG gave us a triage, but we're going to upgrade it to a medivac for you. And if you hear when we give it away on the next stream, it'll probably be next week. We'll chuck in a skin as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So
all right. I've done what I needed to do on that side, so that is all fixed.
And I figured it was only fair to give another customer service announcement because we were raided again, and I forgot to do that a bit earlier. My apologies.
No, it's all good.
Or our apologies, because we both forgot.
It's all good.
PC Gamer Radio.
Yep.
Said on YouTube, your referral code. No, sorry. Skip that.
Referral code is
not actually a question.
It's okay.
Your referral code is in your description is out of date according to CIG website. Sorry.
I'll have a look into that. Thanks.
Mooncat question. Last CitizenCon they claimed to so confidently they would be delivering everything this year they showed off. Didn't that include base building vehicle? What do you think the status is? Well, we think by the end of the year we'll have base building.
Yeah.
We've said that. I think we've consistently said that all year.
Yeah, well, that's what they're at least aiming for base building, crafting, and nicks. That's clearly their intent.
And my gut feeling is they're the things we're going to see. I would expect to see either in CitizenCon. Yeah, the things I'd expect to see at CitizenCon will either be the things that are coming, and/or the things they plan to do for next year. Now, I think we'll see the things they plan to do next year priority, and the other stuff we'll do in the next coming weeks or months. But one or the other. Benjamin Frick, with space stations and base building looking like the ultimate goal for most orgs, what other endgame activities do you see them putting in besides PvP org ball? I could see Vandal raids.
Let me know if that fixed the referral code. I updated it.
So I could see Vandal raids. A Vandal raid is in and it gives an org an opportunity to go and repel the Vandal. Although I would see that also being a server-wide thing, but orgs, the fact that you'd need bigger ships, and I would hope that, say, an Idris with a crew that's always flying that Idris would be much more efficient than a crew of randoms. Just like in any MMO, your standard group is much better than your pickup group.
I think the other thing is we are seeing ships to that effect. Like there's two big ships, the Perseus and the Paladin, that are both in that vein of what the Polaris was. Like I remember the first time last year when I got in with Moist Noodle, and both he and I, right after we were in it for like a couple of hours, and we both said that is like the best experience I've ever had.
Yep.
And I've been playing the game for X number of years that we've ever had in Star Citizen. It was just the teamwork that was required, and like it was all combat, right? But it was just like like one guy's on the torpedoes, another guy's on the the 3 different sizes of turret, the communication required between everyone. At one point, we just had someone sitting in the captain's chair, and all they were doing was in third person and calling shit out, right? The teamwork, and it was just like, this is so much fun. Like just working together was really fun, and it's that gameplay that I've always been looking for. Like when I told you about why I brought the Andromeda all the way back when, was that 4-player with a couple of mates. Exactly what I'm looking for.
That
and
was
I think those 2 ships coming in, the Paladin and the Perseus, are just more leading into that.
Yeah, well, like you, the Andromeda was my first ship, or the Constellation was my first ship, specifically because 4-person, me and my mates. And the snub fighter and the turrets, it just said, yeah, this is a perfect ship for 4 people. So any ship that leans into that heavily, into that gameplay, is just golden, in my opinion. So yeah, and I could see them bringing in the end game activities would be thinking that Algared, not only Orc combat, but Vandal raids, pirate raids, securing rare materials, so that you can actually process and get tier 1 materials, so you can actually build tier 1 ships, all of that stuff.
All right.
So
we have over a page of questions left, probably almost a page and a half. We have hit the end of time, so I'm going into. Well, we've got 5 minutes left. I'm going into rapid-fire mode. So.
Well, I thought the last half dozen had been fairly quick considering, but when you were doing your stuff.
Right. Yeah. Because only half of us were talking. That's.
Yeah. Well.
Right. Anyway, Xander, any chance of a Squadron 42 character becoming a mission giver, and if so, who do you think it would be? Some military person that kind of recruits you into the UAE. I don't know who.
Yep. I could say John Rhys Davies' character.
Yes. Chris, what's your take on this being the holiday season of gunships? Will we get the Paladin and Perseus before the end of the year? Yes, we will. And I think I talked about that a little bit before. So,
Mooncat. No. Not a question. Aaron Moore. Do you think they will talk about armor functionality and FPS ping? Sorry.
Yeah, I think some things will just get kind of glazed over a bit because, again, we've only got 2 hours. As I said, I think a lot of them will come back in the ISCs over the next 6 months. Connor L says, do you think we will see gas mining for making normal fuel? Yes. That was implied.
Yes.
Yeah, well, the Starfarer is meant to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, PC Gaming Radio. With the Valve bringing out the next generation VR helmet in 2026, do you think it will tempt yourself to get it for Squadron 42 and the PU?
I'm not a big VR guy, and I think you're about the same, Algared. It's not a proven tech for us. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe. We'll see.
I find at the moment any of the tech ends up me doing bobblehead all the time, so you'd get sick.
Yeah, they're a little bit.
I'd get sick.
A little bit front heavy. Still.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Dub Coyote. Since they started developing by manufacturers, we've got a lot of RSI ships. Now MISC and a smattering of other ships. Who's next?
Whoever they feel like doing. That was one of the things that became really clear. It was like they like to pass it around a little bit, and it's also what's required for gameplay. So if they said they want to design once a mining ship, then they have to go do a mining ship that they've already talked about or make a new one.
I got the impression when we talked to Ben and John is the idea of just working on one manufacturer had benefit, but they also found it resulted in burnout, and so they do try to do 2 or 3 at the same time.
Benjamin Frick, with the engineering coming, does that do the Crucible and Vulcan ship release time table, i.e. your comment about medical, then the Apollo came out? It probably helps with repair for the Crucible and the Vulcan, but the drones, I'd probably expect to see a newer ship that would probably see first. Like that seems to be the cadence as well. If you look at like the base building, they built the whole build just to get that done. And the Vulcan's probably too small and it has drones, and the Crucible's too large and it has drones. So do they do something in the middle that just doesn't have drones? And
so my understanding is the Crucible has everything.
Yep.
The Vulcan just has drones, and so I'd expect something that just does
what the Crucible does without the drones for the middle. Yeah, exactly. Agreed. Riddick, do you... Oh, I missed one. Sorry. Yeah, I'll do Riddick. Do you believe CitizenCon will be another smoke and mirror display of Hopium that will not come anytime soon? Well, not really. Most years they show the stuff they're intending to work on for the next year. And that's kind of been the case for the last couple of years. And again, look at base building last year and its kind of prototype form. That's kind of expected what we're seeing this year. And I think you'd agree, Algared.
Yep, 100%. Robert Case, and do you have high expectations, as I do, that this next year may be a serious breakthrough and one of Star Citizen's best year?
It's Year of Squadron.
It's the Year of Squadron.
Yeah.
It'll be certainly CIG's best year, I think, because
Agreed.
Squadron will come out.
They did also state they're going to roll back a little bit on the, would they do 10 patches this year with content? So I assume maybe every second month they'll do one. So maybe instead of 10, we might get 5 or 6.
Yep.
And I don't have a problem with that, because then again, that puts the quality up as well. And I think that's probably what's lacked a little bit this year. Like they've done a lot of content, but they haven't quite hit what the resource drive was a bit scuffed. So
yeah. And I think they found that really they run an event. No, really. Well, I think they planned, we'll run an event for every, each month. It really ended up being an event really needed to go over a 2-month period just to give people a chance to really sink their teeth into it. Solomon, do you think we will see any more kits for the Idris or ship finished, or is this ship finished from that point of view?
I think it's done. I think the kits are really, they've sold the progression of that ship. I think you might see kits for other bigger ships, like, for example, when the Kraken comes out, knowing there's a privateer kit, there's probably going to be another one.
Yep. The only other kit I could conceive seeing is just a straight up big laser cannon rather than the laser beam. But does it need it?
Again, I don't know.
It's a priority thing, and
Yeah, it's already been sold. There's not enough value to go back and do it. Benjamin Frick says, question, is the Hammerhead rework more than porting it in from Squadron 42? They're just bringing it up to standard like they do on a lot of ships. That's all that is. I went into it in the PU. There's no component ports in it. So they've obviously got a lot more work to do on it, to be honest with you. And that's probably what they're doing. They're doing that with the Aurora. They're putting the components in. So I assume it's just bringing the Hammerhead up to engineering standard. Yep.
And every ship's got to get that up to that standard before engineering comes in.
Yep. And it's one of those bigger ships that just doesn't have components in it for some reason. There's panels there, but they don't work or move or do anything. So yeah, it clearly needed it to be, and especially because they want that multi-crew gameplay, the bigger ones really work around that. It needs it, so that's probably why it's getting it.
Yep. Dave Renter Wilson says, how important is it to prepare for 1.0, to build in opinions, choices, to actually buy your ships as opposed to Alpha UEC?
I think it is part of the gameplay, especially with base building and the intent to also build ships, upgrade ships. When you buy a ship, it's essentially going to be at like level 1, and they've talked about upgrading them to level 5 and stuff. So even purchase ships will need to be upgraded. They've essentially given you progression there. You've got access to the ship, but you're only getting access at level 1. So they've kind of shown that now that, even LTI can go out the window there, because if you upgrade it to a level 2, did that only give you LTI on the level 1? These are little things that we don't know yet. So we're gonna have to kind of wait and see where they're going to go with that down the road.
Unlimited Spadework says, with the info about size 1 and 2 surface-to-air missiles, are we thinking a weapon kit for the MTC, or is it the G12 finally coming up?
No,
I think the G12 is Hopium.
It's something new, right? Think about the Atlas platform vehicle that we saw on the Silhouette. Like if they're working on air-to-ground missiles, they talked about FBS turrets. Could that just be another FBS turrets that takes out vehicles? Absolutely, I could see that. As in, a part of base building, they're going to need things like that as well. So it falls under base building. It falls under the FBS turrets, except it would be ship turrets, not FBS turrets. It's similar tech. And up until now, they've just had guns, but why wouldn't they also add missiles to that? Because it makes it more deadly.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
so
It's a layered defense.
yeah, it's a layered defense. So there's a couple of different ways it could go there, and it probably works on all of them. To be honest, multitasking on all fronts.
Commander Jackal says, do you feel the Reclaim is likely to have its refinery updated anytime soon, or are we likely to have it offloading?
It doesn't have a
offloading for a while.
It doesn't have a refinery anymore. It's a sorting thing, and it's got to be refined elsewhere. So yeah.
Michael Desinio says, could you see any more Frankenstein ships more likely taking damage, broken ships on the scale, like ship station, the capital sleeps, etc., to build fleets from salvage?
Absolutely. There's another one in the same video as the Shiv. You've got the Cutlass looking one with what was it? Valkyrie engines and Freelancer engine on it. I could totally see something like that, and possibly even more down the line if that's where they want to go. We talked about the Vandal being in the same system as Nyx, so you might even see some Vandal based ships come into that if they want to. And again, it's a priority order thing. So we might not see ships like that to after 1.0 because, again, they're taking ships that they've already made and flipping them to raise money. That would imply ships that have never been made before. So that's extra work. But again, eventually everything comes around again. It's just how long it takes.
Yep. The next question is Dominic Cianciola says, will we get any information on the Endeavour tomorrow? Now, the Colt always has information on the Endeavour, but it's secret, and so we can never tell you.
Yeah, you got to zap it into your brain. You got to go through a ritual, a hazing, many things like that. But no, there shouldn't be anything on the Endeavour tomorrow.
I don't expect to see that either.
Ethel Gray says, with this being a pre-recorded CitizenCon, do you think this will be more of the format of the IE shows last year, or just a long string of sideshow? It'll be like a 2-hour-long ISC, because they've even filmed most of it inside the Only Constants, which is the stage that Disco set that Disco appears on. So yeah, I'm just expecting, instead of a 15-minute ISC that we normally get, it's a 2-hour one, and then they'll probably cut off to pre-recorded full screen video footage, kind of like literally just like they do in an ISC. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting. But yeah, I hope it's good.
Yep. So this is more a comment than a question from Henny Pen, which makes me wonder, is the sky falling? But their comment is, my guess for CitizenCon seems to be obvious and overlooked. It will be primarily about Vulcan rendering. They have said many game features, Maelstrom, damage, engineering, etc., require Vulcan to be updated.
But Vulcan is an engine thing, not a gameplay thing. So it's not what people are really interested in. And we do know the Vulcan update is inside the latest engine build. We might get a little update or mention of that, but it's not a priority to show off what they've been doing in the last 12 months. I can see them mentioning it in passing, but not a priority. As in when you've only got 2 hours.
I could see them saying, we've done Vulcan, Vulcan is wonderful, and we've got this new update, and then using it to show
like when they show
damage, engineering.
Yeah, like when they're showing off Genesis Tech or whatever, and they said that the new Vulcan updates and the engine allowed us to do this, and this. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. That's what I was implying.
But it won't be just focusing on Vulcan. It'll be.
That's what I meant in
Vulcan has been
that's what I meant in passing. Yeah, we're on the same page, right? Scapey 907 says, do you have faith that scanning will not be the same across all ships, i.e., trackers versus cutters versus scouts versus terrapin? Yep, because they've talked about multiple different scanning methods in the past, and that's what they're planning.
They've even talked about different scanning types will do different things. So yeah,
you got ships like the terrapin that have 2 scanners to. Do you have a bioscanner and a
mineral scanner
or an ore scanner or whatever, so you can have different scanning types, different scanning techniques. So it's a lot more complicated than it seems on the surface. And they've also talked about active scanning, which is where you actively send out the ping. And a lot of ships just do passive. They don't actually have active. They just do passive. So yeah.
Yep. Raymond Muck. Yeah, Raymond Muck says, or Donnie, as we called him.
Yep.
4.32 is out in live before or after SitCon Direct.
Again, we don't actually know, so it's probably going to be a PTU patch. By the way, it's looking. I'm expecting literally in about 3 hours' time for the next one to drop. And as we saw, that's not a release candidate, so there's probably another patch tomorrow, the day of, and it might even be a PTU CitizenCon, which we have seen before.
Yep. Hennypan has another question. Can you guys talk about Vulkan and how it ties into gameplay and not just visuals?
It essentially is just the engine. It allows you to optimize the engine and basically make it available for more graphics cards. It's not as intensive. Like there's a whole host of benefits, but it's not gameplay related. And the thing is, this is a game, so they're going to talk about gameplay features, not so when you've only got 2 hours, it's just not a priority.
Yeah. If it was a live version,
yeah,
where they're doing 6 panels,
yeah, absolutely,
yeah, there'd be definitely one attributed
and
to that, like they do sound or something.
They did mention it in the Genesis panel last year, but they didn't like they just said that these new Vulkan improvements have allowed this, and this, and it'll be exactly the same this year, I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Vulkan will open the game to a lot more normal people to bring in their regular graphics cards, because like, let's be honest, most people are picking up 5070s, not 5080s and 5090s because of the cost. And so by bringing stuff in like that, it allows those newer cards that are more tailored to that rather than DirectX 11. Let's be honest, this is running in DirectX 11. DirectX 12 is the standard now, you know, so half the problem is, excuse me, with video cards, they tend to, after a while, they roll out the old tech. So the new, if you have, I remember I went back and played some games on a graphics card, and this was years afterwards, and it actually ran worse on the newer graphics card than the old one, because they'd taken tech out of the graphics card and moved into this newer tech. And because the old game ran on this old, like it was like DirectX 7 or something, and it wouldn't run it because it was DirectX 11, and it was just like, whoa, you know, like, and the frame rate dropped. And I remember a similar thing happened recently when they stopped supporting games that had PhysX in it. And you could go back to the previous generation that had PhysX, and then you went to the new 5080s and stuff like that, and they'd only get like 5 frames per second because they didn't have the PhysX in the card anymore. So yeah.
Yep. Raven Fury, ship upgrade question. Is it really worth it to upgrade my triage to a Medivac?
Personal question, entirely up to you. $25 as a monetary value, no, but what's the better ship? The triage. The Medivac's the better one, but like I don't really think it's worth $25. But if you just want the best, that's it.
Yeah. So is it really worth it? No. But
yeah,
if you're asking that question in regards to the giveaway, then yeah, because it's the better ship. And if you enter the giveaway, all you need to do is go to our website, look at our Apollo buyer's guide, make sure you're a public subscriber, give us a like. Not because you have to, just because it gives me a warm fuzzy, and then leave a comment. And it's leaving the comment and being a public subscriber to the channel that gets you in the draw. But do that and get a chance to win a Medivac, because CIG gave us a triage, we'll upgrade it to a triage. And if you're here when we do the draw next week in our live stream, we will give you a skin of your choice for the Apollo.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Next question, please.
Is Wing Zabar says, if you could make a set of modules for the Apollo, what would they be?
Modules for the Apollo? Slave ship chop shop. No. Body shop, just chop it all up. No, probably a cosmetic shop like you and I talked about, Algared. So one where you could kind of like change the way your character looks and stuff would probably work.
Yeah, I'd do cosmetics. I'd do I could see a science. I could see luxury. Given the Hermes, I could certainly see a analytic computing system to decrypt and decode data to aid with the transfer of sales. So yeah. Dale Buchanan, do you think the docking on the reclaimer is made for stowing at refineries? PTU currently shows reclaimer in Crew L1 when you sell CMS from the hopper at the All Style store. Look, I think it makes it easier for moving, storing the ship and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just a nice update finally coming.
Yeah, agreed.
Edward Munnings says, do you think all the salvage changes coming are not only a salvage starter, but also medium salvage may come up? Yes.
Yeah, well, large and small. Yeah,
Yeah.
Large and small. But yeah, close enough. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Ethereal Grey, with regards to base building, wouldn't CIG need to institute server cluster search to make it so you can connect to your base server?
With regards to base building, wouldn't CIG need to institute a server cluster search to make you connect to your base server?
Yeah, so if you're building a base, you want to make sure that when you come into game, you log into where your base is.
Yep. So you'd probably be regional servered. Yep, absolutely. They did kind of mention that, like you could build a base, say, on the Australian server, and it wouldn't be there on the US server. They did mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right. Sturkey? Any thoughts on VR? I'm personally extremely hyped for SC and VR. Yeah, again, as we said earlier, it's just not a proven tech for me. I'm sure it'll be really cool. It's like flight sticks, right? Like a lot of people like flight sticks and SC, but it's not necessary. And let's be honest, if you take the vast majority of people, you throw out Squadron 42 into the wild, most people are going to be mouse and keyboard, and maybe a controller. They're not going to be a mouse and keyboard because they're not going to be like us they're not going to buy $900 spaceship. Why are they going to buy $900 joysticks? You know, so it's the same thing. Like they're going to buy a $70 game and play it. They're not going to do the same as us. They're not as invested as we are. So it's exactly
they
the same
may
thing.
eventually get
VR's just
into
not
that.
VR's just not proven, is it? It's like buying a monitor, Algared. Like, would you rather buy a brand new fancy monitor or buy a VR headset? And I'm like, well, I'd rather buy the monitor.
I buy a new fancy monitor because I know that that's good. Whereas the VR stuff for me is
you can only wear it for a limited amount of time, and it causes headaches and stuff like that. Where I can use the monitor all day, no issues. So yeah, when it's proven and it's more refined, and we're getting some cool ones coming out. Don't get worried about that. I do look into this stuff. It's just not quite there yet, and it's going to take a bit of time. They've been at it for 10 years, and I think it's probably got another 10 to go before it kind of gets where they want it to go. So,
and you've been told to stop calling out DG Gnome for his joysticks. So
I didn't call anything about him in his joystick. I never mentioned his name once, but okay.
I know. Yeah. But he just drew attention to himself, so I've
cool.
done that.
Jag Mason says, I'm hoping to see the Paladin in full tomorrow, especially the interior. Which style do you think they'll go with? Asgard, the revamped Terrapin, Carrot combo, or something new? What do you think they'll go with? I think it is a little bit new, but again, it's probably going to use more of the Asgard, the Anvil tile set. I think that's what he's talking about, isn't it? He's talking about the tile set.
Yeah, I would assume that's what he's talking about.
In the concept, it had green and stuff in it, so I'd have to say it's in line with the Asgard and the Valkyrie. Yeah.
Buckshot Gaming says, I love to see a tier 0 or even tier 1 of base building, but even just giving us the CSV FM they mentioned previously and letting us build a little tent or lean-to, that was the beginning of the implementation of testing persistence and non-game breaking way. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I think that'll definitely come along with the build when the build's released into the game. When that is entirely up to them. But I think the initial plan was to try and get it by the end of the year. Don't know if that'll pan out though. So,
yeah, I tend to think that, and the plan is for that. And I think that the minimum we'll see is build an outpost.
All right, Donnie says, you'll know what about in-system local commercial branded ships? What about in-system local commercial branded ships? This whiz about the planets and moons and orbits, or between the planets and the moons in a system. What? I don't get the question. It's
I don't understand your question.
Yeah, it's written in double Dutch, mate. I can't.
What about it in system, local, commercial?
So I think he's talking about
Okay,
like the Lin food people and the courier
Yeah.
people and stuff like that. So and then it says that whiz about the planets, moons that orbit or between. Oh, so I think he's talking about AI ships that are branded.
Yeah. So the local
Eventually-
ships in the system being branded and flying
Yeah.
between the systems.
Eventually, yes.
It took me 2 or 3 times to read the question to actually
Yeah,
work that one out.
it's a bit. It's not broken English. It's just it's
It's
broken
just,
thought.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to word that. But yeah.
No, broken thoughts
Yeah.
for us, not for you.
Yeah,
We had to kind
yeah. All right. DG
work
Gnome
that in.
says, given all the work on MISC and crafting, fuel and refining, do you think the Starfarers will get an overhaul soon tomorrow? I think that would have to definitely be on the cards, and they know that they talked about
Yep.
it. I think we talked about it with them at our lunch.
We did.
And I think you'll probably see something in line like that, like what they're doing with the Chromalite now when they come back to work on refueling. So look out for a new refueler coming, and that will probably be in line with the Starfarer.
Yep. Edward Munt says, or Money says, we've seen small YouTube videos on external freight elevators. Any thoughts on Citizen revealing, or CitizenCon revealing any for them or stations before next?
Again, I think that'll be there tomorrow when we look at stuff, and it'll probably come under base building and hauling or whatever they go into tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, remember they showed off that wall 12 months ago. It's now coming into the game. It's
Yep.
the same thing. It's just a preview of what they're planning to work on.
Yeah, and that's always been the case if you look back. Ethereal Grey, our last question. We did it. We got there.
We got there.
The lineup that we saw last year of ships. Do you think the Drake one looking one is there, or do you think it's just a command module standalone?
You answer that one.
Well, I think whatever that Flappy Bird.
Oh, he's talking about the
is,
Flappy Bird. The Flappy Bird again. It's like you said, 12 months of progress. I think it probably pushes into the next year for me because the way base building's gone.
But no, I don't think it's a command module for the Ironclad or the other Drake ship, which has just gone from my memory because I'm tired and my brain's not working anymore.
What other Drake
the long Caterpillar.
Oh, the Caterpillar. Yep.
The command module for Caterpillar or the Ironclad.
Yep.
I think that's something that we might see. They might show something of that if they bring out, give us any information on the Ironclad or status, but that's about it. And that's it. That's our questions done. Survived.
All right. So I've set up a raid. Cat, you are too fat. Right. We're going to raid Avenger 1. We haven't ever been able to raid Avenger 1 before. I had a look on there for the people that are there because obviously there's people there that we don't normally raid. And Avenger 1 has raided us before, but we never raided him back. And everyone else that I could see there that we've raided before. So everyone else had kind of already moved on. So we're going to raid Avenger 1. Ask him his thoughts on CitizenCon. Ask him if he would like to go out with me in the Paladin and fly for me so we could shoot. That'd be great. I need a really good flyer. Ask him if he'd be happy to go out with Execute in the Paladin sometime soon for some shooting. See what he says. And what would you like to hear, Algared, or you just want to tag along in the Paladin?
I just tag along.
All right. Excuse me, Cat. Twitch say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube say goodbye to Twitch. And see you, boys. Have a good CitizenCon. Bye.
Poof.
And they're gone. All right, let's have a listen in.
They're gone.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull some range here. I got him beta. I'm gonna flatten him out. Wants to EMP.
I'm stalling him. He's super hurt. There we go.
Hawk.
You got him?
Yeah, it's Hawk's down.
Switching to
Oh,
Varus.
There's another hawk on me
I
here.
think he's engrossed in the PvP.
He is.
Stringing out Varus. He's on Pixel.
There's that.
So that's unlike me.
Well, he doesn't have a raid notification, so I don't think he's
Slack
picked up on
behind
it.
him. He nosed off.
He's doing the lip thing.
What is that here?
One engaging bears.
He's concentrating very, very hard. Someone's going to clip this.
You have 10 on. You have 2 on you.
Yeah, I'm just pulling.
He's
him
doing
out.
this thing too. Look, where he's
Oh, I do see Sfur.
Oh,
He's
he's
looking
got
at the screen.
well, no, he's got the clip thing on his hat, so he's
Firebirds. Oh, he's in the,
Yeah.
what are the EMP? The
Doing
EMP
nothing.
mode, whatever that is.
Searching. Chunka's going defensive.
I need you on Sfur because that Raven.
All right,
is,
I think we'll-
because he's tilting his head. He's viewing his monitor keeps
yeah. I think we'll
tilting
leave.
as well.
I think we'll leave him there then to enjoy it. But yeah,
Yeah.
but he's enjoying himself. So yeah. All right.
Indeed.
With that, then I have set YouTube up to just redirect to the. I set up. That's what I was doing during
Yep.
when I was on the
actually
Crescent.
noticed
I
that.
was setting up the stream for tomorrow. I've got a temporary thumbnail in place, but I will update that.
Yeah.
But the
Yes, track IR. That's the thing he's using.
yeah. But I've got the stream set up for tomorrow, so that's all ready to go. So this will redirect to that. So if you just want to sit there and wait, you can. If not, you can just marry on your way and do whatever. But there was no one else that I could see that we knew that was streaming on YouTube. So with that, then don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you everyone that went the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. Don't forget the giveaway on the Apollo. You can jump over the video to join that if you would like to do that. With that, then you look forward to tomorrow, Algared?
No, because it's so early.
Right.
I tell you, at the moment, my eyes are
Yeah.
really.
Well, again, the
bright
lights
light.
the lights do that, and so we'll get 2 hours tomorrow, then have a bit of a break while we'll just do voices, and then we'll go back to it. So yeah, 6 hours is going to be a big one, but we've done longer.
Indeed.
We've done 8 hours, so
We have done longer.
so we can do it again.
Well,
All right.
last year we did CitizenCon and then came back and did debriefs. So
Yes, so and I had that whole thing with my foot and COVID and all the shit we got while we were there. So
it
was
was
fun.
nasty.
yeah.
Fun,
All right,
but
Dan.
nasty.
All right, he's been Algared.
He's been executed, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you tomorrow, citizens. Bye.